Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League, and your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, there is nothing but handsome men on that end of your screen. It is Guy Blaze being joined now by our special guest for the week, Ashes. You all know him as the former coach of 22 world championship teams. That is more championships than I think basically the rest of the community combined at the current moment.
With introductions like that, I don't know what to say, Colin.
He has me flustered a lot too, as well. When he introed me, I'm like, damn, okay, how the hell do I follow up on that?
Yeah, there's literally nothing I can say. Like it's just he covers all of these boats and makes them afloat, and now I'm just all bubbly and happy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm honored to be here with you guys, though. This is really exciting.
Yeah, you would think this was Impact Theory, the way that he was leading these intros and hyping everybody up on the lead in. But Ashes, it is awesome to have you here because as everybody knows, we got a matchup that's about to come up. And, if we would have looked at this schedule early on before the season, we would have told ourselves like, hey, this one right here is probably deciding a top 3 position. Now, it's deciding the positionings in the standings, but it's not a top 3 one. It's Rise and eUnited. And both teams have had their struggles so far in the Pro League, but regardless of whatever struggles they had, when they have to play against each other, it's always going to be a crazy series. And Ashes, you had to prepare for a lot of these games before in the past.
Yeah, these matchups, it always brings the best out of both teams. And that's something I've always loved about this rivalry. Going all the way back to the Optic Envy days in the El Clasico or E Clasico, this matchup really fires up every single player on both rosters. You get the best out of Fran, you get the best out of Xplosives, and then the story just kept unfolding over the years where, some players come from their roster over to this one, the United one, and some players from the United one have past histories with the ones on the Rise roster. So this story, this rivalry has only developed more and more over time, and I'm so excited to watch this rivalry matchup and be able to be on the desk.
Ashes, you've been doing a little prep for this matchup over the past couple of weeks. You've been doing some watch parties with Pro League, just really working on your analyst chops. And I believe we have a little snippet from one you did just last night. I'm pretty sure we're ready for it.
Yeah, I agree with you, PR. It was definitely an evenly matched battle. But talking about evenly matched battles, let's go ahead and talk about our next matchup, which is going to be that Rise versus eUnited matchup. I lied. Yeah, this one. Actually, here, we'll do it this way. That's a good ban. That's a good ban. That's a good pick. Bad pick. Bad Kenny. Stop moving. Stop moving. Look, I made Taylor a little devil with a mustache.
If you only have one hill and the other team has 2, you're gonna lose.
Yes, it lined up. Let's go. That's 4 eUnited votes. Yeah, pressure's on Noble. I mean, we've got 4 votes here for eUnited. So Taylor, I think it's pretty unanimous. Everyone believes in eUnited. They've had a ruck. Taylor, I'm talking, bro. No. Wait, no. I wasn't ready for the map to start, man. Should I cast with my voice changer on?
I'll just show up to the broadcast like this. Vic gonna drop. Kenny going down as well. That is gonna be the round for Noble. They close out map number 2, 5-3. They're sending us to a tiebreaker.
As the children would say, yo, I'm done. I'm dead. That killed me. I'm done. I'm finished. Finito. I think that's how the kids would say it anyway. I don't know. I'm not hip to the lingo.
The fact that the mustache and the horns lined up perfectly when Taylor was just relaxed, oh, that got me.
Look, guys, I was just getting prepared for the broadcast. So, I just want to be as good as I can on the analyst desk.
What?
I think I scared Colin a little bit.
Just the hair.
Tad bit. Any voice that deep, boy. Colin is, man, he's saying his 5 Hail Marys and he gonna be out for the week, okay? He's out of here.
Just make sure St. Mary knows I'm here. All right, St. Mary knows that if I've got to meet St. Peter here in a few seconds, because a voice like that's coming in over my back shoulder, I'm at least gonna make sure I'm good with everybody, including the man upstairs, because it's gonna be a quick trip, hopefully up an escalator. But ladies and gentlemen, this matchup, like we've been saying, is gonna be one for the books, one for the ages. It's gonna be a hell of a matchup because it always exceeds expectations. And here's our head-to-head graphic, and I know a lot of stats get thrown out. And as you look over these, kind of the thing that I think is going to stand out to a lot of people is the plus minus and how lopsided it is right now in favor of eUnited. But Ashes, does that mean a hill of beans when you have these two teams?
No, I think these kind of statistics, as much as it's really valuable to look at and it gives you a little bit of insight to the teams, this matchup, this Rise versus eUnited matchup is something different. Like I said, both teams kick it up 3 gears and they try to put on the best performance possible because there is that little extra feud between them, the long-standing rivalry. So I think, these stats are great. And the weird thing is you've got that minus 61 compared to that minus 112 for Rise. So it's like, technically on paper, eUnited should be doing better, which means something's going wrong in these mid rounds. They're getting the kills. They're just not finishing the rounds the way they should be.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that one. Up until this point, Rise does have an extra game over eUnited too as well. They've played 8 up until this point. But even regardless of that, I agree with you, Ash. It's like these two teams alone, you need like a separate stat category for them because it doesn't matter what has happened in their other matches up until this point. They have their own rivalry, one that we've been watching for a very long time. And that gives them a little extra flair when it comes down to playing each other. And as far as today goes, eUnited definitely needs to come out with a win. Okay, those boys need one. They need a big one, and they need one against this Rise Nation squad. But it's going to be a difficult fight. It's going to be a difficult one.
And Nick, you and I have talked about it a lot, and it's actually something that really comes up time and time again in our discussions about Gears. When these two teams kind of end up fighting each other, especially when you've got any kind of money on the line, you start to see different sides to these two entities, Franchise and Xplosive. You start to see wrinkles in their offense, the way that they take initials, maybe some weapon placements. Do you expect to see any of that tonight, especially with eUnited trying to fend off relegation now at this point, going against an old rival in Rise? Do you see them basically pulling out all the stops, throwing even the kitchen sink at people?
I think these two teams know each other really, really well. Just on that mechanical level, they know how each other plays. They know how to counter each other. So I expect to see Rise pulling out the strats, which they've done previously in this Pro League split. They've done it against Rebel. They've done it against a few other teams where they've switched up their initials. They've shown their cards. I think they probably have some more that they haven't shown yet, knowing that team. So I expect to see more strategy diversity from Rise, and I expect United to be prepared for that. I expect them to have their research done. I think Coach Rubix is on top of things, and I think that the United roster really just has to come out swinging. Otherwise, the momentum is going to carry one of these teams to a quick map 1, and neither team can afford that.
Well, I'm kind of. Go ahead, Blaze. Go ahead. I got a thought, but I'll hold on to it. I got it right here. Here we go.
Who knows? Maybe, hold on to it because it may be one of the same thoughts that I have. But my question is more so when it comes down towards strategy, because as you said before, Rise, you saw them kind of dive into their strat book for some of the other series in which they played beforehand, and they probably still got a few that we have not seen. Now, with the changes in weapon placement, I know that sometimes it can be hard to find little unique ways to get that leg up. But when it comes down to new strategies versus how close we get to the major, when do you start bringing them out to really run them and see if they work? Is it just in scrims? Do you save a few that you've never ran for the major? Or have we seen pretty much, towards like the last week of Pro League, do they start to come out?
Well, in my day, I'm talking like I'm this, old retired veteran. In my day for this, a lot of teams would hold their cards close to their chest. They would keep a lot of these strategies protected. They wouldn't show people. It would almost be kind of things where, in warm-ups, they go, oh, would this work? Yeah, let's write that down. We'll try it sometime. And then those weeks leading up to the major, you would test those strategies against some of the scrims that were like the warm-up scrims or maybe a little bit lower tier scrims. That would be your chance to really see, okay, is this viable? Do we think this could work against one of these top tier teams when we're playing them in the major? And is this worth keeping in our strat book? So I don't think that we're going to see anything too extreme, but we will see some different initials from some of these teams. Like I said, Rise versus Rebel, I was really impressed with just on the map District. They were running 3 or 4 different initials in that first half alone. They played for B aggressively. They played a passive strategy where they played to cross a player down and get the man advantage early on, and they played for home. So we saw a few different looks from this team. I think United recognizes that as well in their preparation. So I'm excited to see what they've prepared for each other specifically.
Okay.
Well, we're going to find out exactly where they're going to settle out this score tonight with our picks and bans. And I almost wish we had a whiteboard for you, Ashes. I wish you could go through, tell me bad ban, good pick, bad pick. Let us hear it. I want to hear your thoughts initially.
So Exhibit is kind of mandatory. That map is, it's a museum, but it should just be a bunch of statues of Xplosive. So the ban from Rise makes a lot of sense to me. Training Grounds, that's always been a map that Rise has been a little bit comfortable on, and it's kind of hit or miss for eUnited. So that one makes sense to me as well. I always am going to question the Vasgar pick. I feel like Vasgar is one of those maps where even if you're really good on it, the way the map is laid out and the fights take place, it could easily go either team's way if one team catches momentum. So I know that Kenny really likes that map, but we didn't see them win it the other day. So, we'll see how that goes. Rise on District, United has been getting smoked on District so far this season in the Pro League. I love my guys, but it's kind of the reality of the situation. I know they've been putting a lot of work into it. I've been tuning into Powerz streams. They've been scrimming District. They've been working on District. So Rise picking that makes sense. The Asylum and Foundation bans make sense to me. The Harbor, I'm a little bit surprised it went to Harbor. I thought United might have liked Foundation more, but, we'll see how they are prepared for Rise on that Harbor map.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into the heat and meat of this because we're going to go straight to predictions. I need to start to hear people start to talk about who they think is going to win this, who's going to come out on top. You throw out the stat books. It could be any number of old cliches, but I've got one more cliche for you. You leave the dance with who brought you. Who you went with is who you leave with. And I've come to the dance with eUnited plenty of times. Kenny's taken me to the middle of the dance floor, and I've laid my head on his shoulder and said, please win this match, baby. So I'm going one more time with eUnited. I just don't know how else to pick against them. The only thing that worries me is that Rise has the smallest margin of loss this year. Every match that I've been able to go back and watch from them, they lose rounds by the least amount of points across the board. When they lose rounds or lose matches, it's the smallest margin of defeat. And that scares me for a team like eUnited because Rise is right there in every round.
All right. So eUnited is going to be Colin's pick. And Colin, I've followed Kenny to the dance floor plenty of times before myself as well. And in the past, he's left me for teams like MBN and Insanes and Synergy and all these guys, but I still keep voting for him. And you know what? After watching how eUnited played yesterday, they got off to a hot start, but just disappointing losses, and they let Noble come back on them. I still got to go for eUnited as my map pick and for my pick in this series. And that's because, I never feel that eUnited will be in a slump for too long, right? This is a squad full of players who want to win, who want to be perfect, who want to win championships. So when they come off losses like to Noble, I assume that they're going to come back twice as hard the next day. And this is another one of those scenarios. And plus, it's going up against a team in which they got so much history with before. And I'm going with eUnited for this series.
I guess that makes it my turn. I can only choose via the only way I know how, which is a little chant of eUnited. I have to pick United. They're the family. They're the boys. They're 22-time champions. You've got Kenny, Vic, Arodi, Gilbert. You've got some of the best players in Gears Esports history. You've got literally just an all-star roster. I don't think they've found their groove yet this season. I think yesterday they should have won that map or that match on paper. They should have taken that one. They basically had the advantage more often than not and threw it away in my eyes. I talked to Coach Rubix. He said they've identified their problems. They're moving a little bit too fast. They need to get on the same page, and I completely agree with them. So I think they're prepared. I pick eUnited.
3 for 3 for eUnited chat, the only one left. And They went against us last game, Blaze. They got another point up on me. I'm falling further back in line. Will they stay with it? All right, I can't fall but too far behind, Chad. Thank God I can't fall for too far behind.
They stay with us. They stay with us, man. And eUnited, man, to come out on top on this series, they definitely need it. When you look at the matches in which they got to finish this, the Pro League off with, is versus Rise, versus Rated R, and versus the Pittsburgh Knights. On the flip end, Rise has eUnited, PK, and Noble. So Rise has a tough schedule to finish off the league with. These are must-win matches, and we're finally underway with this series, folks. It's Rise versus eUnited, a grudge match in which we've watched time and time again. It's always delivered, but we're kicking this one off on Vasgar. It's eUnited's map pick. Let's see what goes down.
Ashes, what do you think of this initial 2-2? Do you usually, if you were to be coaching right now, would you favor the 3-2 split, trying to go home to homes, or do you like that this is kind of matched up for both of these squads?
So for me personally, and we're going to get into the action a little bit here, the fight is going down over on that E hill, so I'll break it down after this fight, but it does look like Rise is going to come out on top. I prefer that home hill push. I think this B hill is not a stable hill to hold, whereas the home hills have a little bit more defense, a little bit more cover, a little bit more protection, but Rise is looking really good, and here's that momentum I was talking about.
Whew. Two quick 2v2s won by Rise there. You see the fight being won in the top lane, and that quickly trickled into a victory down in the separate lane. Now, the top lane was not able to make it down low in time to even have an influence there on that Ting fight, but they were won so quickly. Trip cap domination comes through for Rise, and it was Rushiez with a first blood in that round. Rise going to win round number 1 from the rival spot.
Yeah, I would like to see eUnited mix it up a little bit here on these initials, and I fully expect Rise to throw them different looks. I mean, already you can see 3 people going towards B hill for both teams, so this initial is already different than the last round. And the reason you see 3 people for eUnited making this aggressive push is because this is their better side. They have that back of tank control off the initial for free. So this push with the right stuns, you can see them getting the down on Icy. It makes it a lot easier than Rise would having pushed the other direction. This is a really good push and a really good initial.
A great little kill there by Xplosive. And again, we kind of see this happening more and more often. Xplosive needs to keep his eye on Rushiez. There he goes. Finally gets him to bleed out, because twice tonight I've seen people leave the mistake of watching somebody crawl around and either get a decap somewhere or maybe put the triple cap domination possibility out on the board. So I'm glad that Rushiez did have to get killed off there before anybody could get to him to get a revive. It's a 3v2 on the opposite side of the map. The 2v1 is handled very quickly by eUnited, and I think that's a good sign for them. But, I mean, look at the way that they are just approaching those 2 players from eUnited. They had the wide angle and the 90 degrees, so they had the extra cross. Kenny's going to hold up this cubby right here. Shows himself a little bit early. I wasn't sure if he was going to wait to see if the second player comes out, but now Avexys has an easy cross onto him up in the corner, and then Rushiez hits the up A, but there's the double down, and right now, Ashes, that's a pretty good position. Like you said, the initial was great for eUnited, and they're continuing to hold on to a bit of a point lead right here. They just need to get a hill back in their favor.
Yeah, the surprising thing to me is Rise was able to push through from B onto the A hill, and nobody off eUnited went A off spawn. Instead, you've got Kenny coming back all the way from the other team's home hill, that's C hill, to try to fight this fight. He does get the down on Fran, which is really crucial right there. That's going to let them take this hill back. Rise, you see Rushiez being a little bit sneaky right here. He didn't decap the hill. He didn't want them to know, but I think Kenny is sensing it. Something's off.
Yeah, he's definitely sensing that.
They got to go with lane priority. Again, this is a map that's huge, and you can slide through the middle of the map and try to get an extra flank out somewhere on somebody. Avexys is actually going to take this Voltok over here. This is going to be pretty interesting, because I'm pretty sure Kenny's got the call out that Voltok is going to pull up on him, and they're going to smoke out Praized, which should lead to this extra push, this extra retake here at A. And Blaze, this fight is going to basically come down to first blood and a singular push to try to take over the map, because it's 2-2 on the map right now.
Yeah, nah, you called it right. It was going to come down to first blood. Rise did a good job there in the late portions of that round, just getting a 2v2 fight on each of the 2 hills in which they needed. But from there, they had to execute. eUnited was already in a great position to get out though that initial damage. They get the first downs there, and they close out this round. But you know, to kick off that round, eUnited, they did good getting that B hill right away, getting first blood down there. And, you know, just being able to kind of just break that tie from there, it was just a game of rotations. And so they do a good job locking in that round. We'll see what they do going into this next one. As far as weapon placements go, you got eUnited building up their retro, but Rise choosing to put a placement in each of their slots. Any reason why they'll do that? Ashes?
Yeah, I've noticed that eUnited has a tendency to try to rush towards one of those higher tier secondary weapons. So I could see them holding onto the Retro Lancer for a little bit. It is a really powerful weapon, especially when you have something like Xplosive on your team. But here, again, you see Rise able to play really aggressive. Fran gets that back cans or bins control because they have that stronger side. So anytime on this first half of this map, the team that has what is currently the cogs on is going to have that advantage over on the B hill. Not only that, they have the advantage on the other side of the map.
Yeah, right.
The home push is super easy when you're holding that kind of.
They got
side.
options.
Yeah, they have all the options in the world. So that kind of leaves the team, you know, United in this case, guessing a little bit. They have to wait till they see numbers. But United making a good retake here. Praized caught off guard a little bit by Fran rolling at him, but it does look like they take back B.
By the way, I'm not going to lie. I enjoy the fact that Fran is playing old man Hoffman, basically. He's like, look, I know what I am now. I'm an old general. I make the moves. I tell the troops where to go. And he's just living up to the modem now. Back shoulder shot by Kenny. Gets some damage on Icy, but Kenny gets the call out that they're coming off a respawn. He's booking it, but Icy with the talent. A lot of shots out, a lot of bullets easily into him. Gets the down and damage. They're going to leave the B hill wide open, and this should be a 3v3 on this side of the map after the extra respawn comes out. But I don't think eUnited has anywhere they can go. Down by about 50 points now, and they're going to wait for the fourth player to get back up, but it's going to be another 4v4 on the map, basically being settled out in a last-second push. And Praized, not sure why you're rocking fire and ice skins, but that's fine. I guess they made you do it. I guess that was a side bet last night. You lost, you had to use them. I guess that's how it was.
You know, if I know Praized, man, he does stuff like that to motivate himself. You know, he'll rock the fire and ice skins until he wins the major, just to remember that you know he needs to play to another level, or to remember that last loss that he's taken on the other end. Now, currently here in this map, Rise did a good job rotating player 2 a lot earlier. Now, eUnited, they were able to count the numbers. You see them, the push is coming out towards the A hill. They got player 8 flanking, and with Powerz able to take out Avexys, Icy stays in the fight. Praized gets the kill. Player 8 flank does come through, but player 2 disengages in the last minute. He says, you know what? I don't want to fight this. I'm going to group with my teammate at B. I know that we got numbers on this side of the map, and Rise uses their rotations in the late game to close out this round.
Come on back. I got something for you.
Yeah, Rise rotated really well, but I also want to comment on how eUnited took a really long time to make their push. Rise had 2 hills, they had map control, and eUnited had a few openings that they could have chosen to take. Instead, they kind of waited to find that perfect opening. And a lot of times in this game, it's not going to show itself. You're never going to get that ideal push. You're never going to get that really clean look with the heavenly light shining around it showing, hey, this is the way. It doesn't happen. You sometimes have to make those ugly pushes, close those gaps, and get those kills that you might not be able to make. But you're a pro player. Be confident in yourself. And eUnited they hesitated a little bit too long, and that gave Rise too much of a point lead. Now the pressure is on eUnited, and that desperation push comes out. It didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work. And you know what? I think it looked for a second like eUnited was going to try to make a play at B at some point, but then they kind of second guess themselves and says, you know what? Let's rotate back towards the top portion of the map. And there's a lot of time off the clock in, especially as we're in the late game. You can't be too indecisive. Now, to kick off this round, eUnited with the more favorable spawn. This time around, they're going to be sending 3 players down low towards the tank side. 3v3 fight here, 1v1 fight up top. We'll see where that first engagement happens at. So far, both teams looking for that advantage. Can't find it yet, though.
Yeah, this is going to be a stalemate because of the win condition right now, where COG is able to win the round if it does come to a draw. The pressure is going to be on eUnited right here. Rise doesn't really have to move. They can just sit here and they win by default. So all pressure is on eUnited, which actually makes me surprised that Avexys is playing up this far. And it looks like Kenny might be trying to go for a little bit of a cheeky grenade here.
Long
we'll
range
see if this-
flash out. Now they're going to be answering back. Praized pushing up. 3 players in the area, but the first down comes out for both sides. And Icy is just going to have to backtrack. Retro on his back. He's going to be full red. You see Praized up top trying to get shots over the top of the cover as well. And Rushiez is going to see him and check him, but he's going to have to roll back. Now Rushiez gets angled out. Icy down as well. A couple of kills come through for eUnited, and this is a much better round for them, Ashes. Uh-oh, don't start that, Powerz. We know how it ends if you start doing it a little too early. You might want to solidify a couple of hills and maybe get a little bit longer into the round before you start getting a little too cocky.
Yeah, that was a really good pinch right there on Fran on their home hill. So that's going to give them in a position where these Rise players coming off spawn, they have to make that desperation push. They're pushing into really strong shotguns and lancers. That is going to close the round. And, you know, Powerz, you know, he won that 1v1. He had the right to kind of remind Avexys, you can't just push that. I know you're desperate. I know you need this hill, but it's my hill.
So both squads trading out the rival spawn in the first half. Now, we'll see if eUnited can break this little back and forth, as we are going to be switching towards the second half. And that home hill at D is going to get moved on over at tickets. And, you know, I feel like here in the second half, the Swarm side is going to have that slight advantage. So let's see if eUnited can capitalize off that. But that does not change the fact that a rival spawn still gets to tank faster, right? So they still have that lane to kind of push through and get the leg up in that fight if they choose to, and let this E-Hill fall into a 1v1. eUnited going to upgrade that Retro into a shot grenade. Rise gets an Incendiary. Both squads going to have Botox on the map, and we are going to see a mirror matchup. Player 9 looks across to check up. He sees player 2, so eUnited, they try to make this play a little bit quicker knowing they got numbers.
I really like how Fran kind of gets the call out of how much damage is being placed out from those mid stairs, those baby steps, and he gets to be able to pull back across the tank. He allows for a teammate, I believe that is going to be Avexys, to come over and help him. That is a 2-man wipe. They've got a 3rd player down. Somebody's flanking. That's going to be Kenny. Kenny's trying his best to get in. He's going to be able to try to get behind them and get a couple of kills in this fight, but he's not going to be able to get but one, and he goes down trying to get the decap at the home hill of Rise. And as good as that thought was, he wasn't able to get anything extra in that fight. And Ashes, you gotta, I would chalk that up as a failed flank. 1 kill, don't get the decap. I mean, he's got to come away with something better, whether it be a little bit of a delay, maybe a 2nd kill, but for me, that's just not enough.
Yeah, that initial went bad really early on. It looked like almost they weren't quite on the same page, or maybe Powerz got stuck on cover a little bit there. You could see he was just looking at Fran, who was shooting him in the face. So I'm not sure what happened there. You know, Kenny made the best out of a bad situation, though, by positioning himself to break that hill. A lot of players get caught up in the fight and the action that's right there in their face. They don't think about this is an objective mode. And by him breaking that hill, that alleviated the pressure on his teammates coming off spawn. So they had more time to take that fight with a little bit more care, save their home hill, and keep eUnited in this round.
Double shot there by 2 different members from eUnited. I like what Kenny did, where he just played his life once again. And he, as much as I said that was a failed flank in the first half, he comes back, he has a good answer into the second half. They're going to pressure up onto the F-Hill here in a 2v2 on the baby steps. Kenny gets a little side shot here on the stairs. Extra pellets out. Gets 3 pellets in the first shot. I have no idea how many were hit by Powerz, but that second spread, that might as well have been an apartment complex, and he put down first and last and a security deposit because he got the down on the second shot. My God, the way that spread looked had to hurt.
eUnited is going to reach that 150-point mark first here in this round. And so they had their opponent's home hill capped. 2 players will be able to disengage here, but they also know that they got the 2v2 fight up top, so they are going to be able to get a hill in the late game. Now, with us getting closer to that 200-point marker, eUnited needs to find a hill. Player 1 sneaks in through the middle, gets behind enemy lines, and Rise is going to be the only team currently getting points. eUnited needs to backtrack. Cap E, player 7 got too far away from his teammate as they were getting aggressive. I don't know if that was a mistake there in communication when it came down to capping that E-Hill, but Rise have stolen the lead here in the late game.
Yeah, Rise played that really well. I think it was number 1, so that's Fran jumped off into mid-map and made that flank to go break and cap the D-Hill. And I think Kenny and Powerz reacted a little bit too slowly in the E.
Yeah.
They tried to chase that 2v1.
Yep.
But they couldn't quite chase him down. They couldn't get the kill, and then Powerz ended up dying for it. Now Rise is in a situation where they easily win this round. Nobody can make it to F-Hill. That's going to put them up 3-2 in this series.
Yeah, man, Rise. Oh, boy. That's a swing round in my book, being able to come back for that one towards the back end. That was Powerz and Xplosive across map at the E hill. Because when I was talking about how eUnited had numbers up top, at that moment, they could have disregarded that player if they chose to, cap the E hill, then start to push through their opponent's spawn, but they chased the kill down first without capping the hill. And then once Fran got that flank, eUnited found themselves in this moment where they wasn't getting any points, and they were like, where do we fight? You know, what's the winning play here in the late game? So Fran, man, being able to get behind enemy lines, that was the win condition in my eyes.
With a team like Rise, you can't leave lanes open because they're actively looking to make those plays, whether it be Rushiez hiding somewhere or Fran making a veteran move and just knowing, hey, the fight's right here. I can get around the fight. I can make a play that saves my team and wins us this round, and they'll go for it. So you really cannot leave those lanes open against Rise. It's something that they do really well. You have to commend them for it, and I hope eUnited is able to keep an eye on that middle lane and that middle pressure.
Armed and ready.
Shocks out. Retro on the side of eUnited. Rise here sending 2 players over for the quick cap at E. That's a pretty beautiful play if you ask me. A lot of the teams will send one person into that hill with the other person playing bodyguard, maybe that Kevin Costner role. And what you see is Rise said, look, let's put them both in there. Let's get the fastest cap that we can get off. And now it gives them a point lead. Look at this. Now eUnited has to sit down. eUnited has to basically take a seat, figure out where their next push is going to come from, because they gave up an early point lead. And
Enemy contact.
yeah, I mean, you hate to see it if you're a fan of eUnited, but Rise, that's a brilliant move on their behalf. And now they got to just play defense, which has been the strength of their team the last couple of rounds, especially the rounds they've won. Every time they have a point lead and eUnited pushes into the teeth of their defense, they get shut right on down.
And not only that, the shock grenade was wasted. So now eUnited doesn't even have the utility to really break this E hill. You see 3 members from Rise already stacking up over here. They've identified that this might be the push. And frankly, that home hill push onto that D hill, running up those stairs, that is insanely hard to do. You have to be really coordinated. I don't know what United's play is here. They have to make a play for this E hill, but it's tragic that they don't have the shock grenade for it.
Man, Powerz got focused as he tried to push down the stairs, but a down comes through. Kenny capitalizes off the small advantage in which they were able to find in this fight, picking up 2 kills. So F hill, E hill locked in. Powerz quick on the flank. Will he get here in time? His teammates is holding the line. They pick up the 3rd. Ices is left by himself. He will have teammates here. Player 9's gonna back up. Gonna just have the Lancer support. Can eUnited get these remaining few kills? Icy goes down. Rushiez has to step up, hit a big shot, but 2 players go down for Rise. eUnited locking in the trip cap domination. Are you fast enough, Fran? Not today.
Not today. Franchis makes it. And, you know, I was a little bit worried there because Icy was staying alive for a really long time. It seemed like eUnited wasn't confident enough to push him. Maybe he was getting some really good shots in and keeping them really red, but it was a 3-on-1. Why aren't you taking that? Why aren't you playing wide and getting him down so you can get that meat shield and kind of solidify this round? Either way, you know, they did manage to make that push over on the E hill. United broke that setup. I think Rise might have gotten a little bit confused because it looked like United was split pushing a little bit. They were pressuring the home hill, they were pressuring the E hill, and it really split Rise's attention. So maybe the comms got a little bit hectic for Rise. Either way, they did a great job off the initial and getting that control, and then United answered back with a great mid-round break.
Yeah, I think definitely like Kenny and Powerz in that 2v2 fight, just having one flash to work with. Kenny found a way to get a good shot on Rushiez, and that was key, but Rise was playing really defensively at D, and Praized was pushed up, so him and Xplosive just had to make sure nobody got behind them, and he had to wait for the pinch. Good job to eUnited. Now, eUnited gives Rise a taste of their own medicine with the exact same initial. They cap up E.
Look at the way Rise is spread on the bottom side of the map. They basically top lane, mid lane, bottom lane. They're actually going to finally rotate Avexys over to try to help this E fight. We're going to see the exact same thing pop off here shortly, but I think eUnited's actually playing one player back further. Let's go back over to that E fight. eUnited has both players on that arch, and Rushiez gets the incendiary grenade on Powerz, which is beautiful, but they were going to get somebody down or dead because there's the shock as well. They use all their utility to get that kill over there. Now they get the second down and damage, and that's the opening salvo they need to get a retake here at the helicopter. And unlike eUnited, where they pushed up to the D hill, Rise is playing back now. And oh my god, Xplosive.
That Retro Lancer is vicious. And, you know, I think eUnited made a little bit of a blunder there. They got that 2 hill control, but then they kept 2 people on their home hill. Realistically, that home hill can be held off with just the shock grenade player because he can close off an entire way up to that D hill. And you have 1 person on your mid cut watching that mid map and then 2 people protecting E. That mid cut player can rotate either way, but it does look like they've been able to get the 2 hills back, and now Fran is the new target for eUnited.
Yes, he is. As he's backing up, he's going to have to rotate around his tank, taking a lot of damage. I don't know if he makes it out alive. Not able to return any shots, but Icy, he's going to be late to the party to try to save Fran. Him and Rushiez gets there. They both will fall. And this is going to be a free lane towards the F hill for eUnited now. Rise coming off respawn. The shock blocks off 1 route. Focus fire to the left. eUnited locks in round number 7.
They executed that mid-round beautifully, you know, other than losing control of that E-hill. So we're going to talk about after that point. But the fact that they were able to retake it, that Retro Lancer from Xplosive was gorgeous. I have no idea how he shoots the gun the way he does, but shout out to him. And it looked like that damage from that Retro Lancer really caught Rise off guard as they were retreating. They had the control. They had the man advantage. But Xplosive with the Retro Lancer really just kind of capitalized on them not being prepared for that. That allowed them to get back into E. Then they rotated back around. They identified that their next play was Fran. They picked up that kill. That's what you like to see out of a team. You like to see them identifying the next play, executing it, identifying the next play, executing it. And that leads to a round win. They did that beautifully.
I feel like, you know, some squads, man, they take too much time trying to think of what's the next move, right? And that buys you crucial seconds, and opportunities sometimes can go out the window in a short amount of time, especially playing Gears of War. You got to create your opportunities. Your opponent's not going to give you much, but what you do or what you're given defines how great of a team you are.
Rise is running another trick strat here too. Sorry, Colin, but
oh, you're good. I was going to point it out. We'll point out the same thing, baby. Go ahead and take it.
Great minds think alike. Rise executes a trick strat. They send 4 people over to this hill. I don't know if the call out came out late from Powerz, but he was all alone at ease. That does give him the hill, gives him more time, and he is able to hide right here. He might be able to pick up a kill on number 2. That's Rushiez looking for him, knows where he is. Maybe you heard him. A great kill from Powerz, picks up that kill. This is essential. This is buying his team time back into this round.
I mean, you know it better than anybody else. Rushiez has been the best rat on the planet when it comes to just hiding around a corner, finding somebody, not paying attention to get the easy 1-shot pick there. He gets called out by Powerz, ends up losing the fight. Avexys trying to hold off multiple members of eUnited here on these stairs, going up to D. Rushiez is coming in from spawn, goes to the up A, but gets taken out by Praized. Beautiful little shot roll by him. That's going to give him a 2-to-1 hill advantage. E-hill will be the last hill to fight over. Fran hiding at the first half home hill. Meanwhile, Icy's coming up behind D to try to play some defense. Fran is going to get called out. Nobody's coming up the flank right now, and it looks like Rise is going to start sending multiple players over there. Maybe even try to sneak Rushiez back through the middle of the map over to D-hill, but we should have a 2-2 here split on the map, and the retake from Rise. Actually, they're sending Rushiez over to the E-hill. This is going to be a 3-2. Headed for the wrong side of the F-hill. They're going to go in through the spawn side, but that's because they know nobody's dead right now. And Icy gets it down on Xplosive. That's massive. That breaks the ice in the second initial. The answer back for the down, but Powerz is not going to be able to find any, or excuse me, yeah, Powerz is not going to be able to find anybody in that fight. They're going to hold on to D, but they're going to lose the point lead here shortly because Rise will get a second hill in their favor. Kenny's going to try to rush to E, but he's going to be met by both Franchis unless, you know, Xplosive has something to say about it.
Yeah, I think Xplosive caught Franchis off guard a little bit there, coming off spawn so quickly and able to get that Lancer down. That lets Kenny get on the E-hill, and you know they might have lost the other team's home hill. They lost that D-hill, but United's making this play back for their home with the number advantage they have. This is going to give them that 2-hill advantage in the round, let them maintain that point lead. They just have to be prepared from this push from Rise. It looks like it's coming sooner rather than later.
Now Rise, you see him pushing through this F hill for now. They're gonna get this one decap, and player 2 is gonna get the decap at E now. 9-6 for eUnited. Know that they cannot slow down. They need to get some heals in a late game. So player 9 is gonna continue to press forward. Decap Rise's home hill. Player 6 winning a big 1v1. That's gonna be Praized. He has to get the decap at E because Rise, they have the lead, but now they are not getting any points whatsoever. If eUnited can keep these hills neutral, just a few more seconds, they'll come out with this map victory, but it's not over yet. Icy, he's getting surrounded. He's buying time for help to come. Rise still has to win a big fight down low. It's time on the clock. Pressure situation here. Rushiez wants to keep it neutral, but players 1 and 4, They're gonna hop on top of the hill up top. Rise wins this battle down low. But
They win the battle at the home.
Oh
They win
my
both battles.
God.
They get the triple cap diamond home. My man, Fran, hitting the LFG. And for those of you not in the know, that's let's go with an extra word in the middle that you can't say without your mama smack you in the mouth. That's going to tie things up at 4-4. That's taking us to a round number 9. And I don't think we'd have it any other way. And I'm certainly thinking that the odds makers in Vegas wouldn't have been able to bet it any other way. We knew these two teams were going to play this right down to the nitty gritty. And with this final round coming out, Franchise and Rise put down the snipe at the tank. Kenny and the side of eUnited, they're looking over that retro, maybe going to that incendiary to use it for the insta-gib there at the tank to try to cross off a lane. They might know a nerdy angle that some people at home aren't sure about. All utilities on the map outside of that sniper and Ashes. What is your call right here? Do you try to get that initial pick if you're playing from the ticket side of the spawn?
I think eUnited should send one person to E. It looks like they actually are going to. And then I know eUnited knows a little bit of a cheeky ensign for this tank fight. I'm wondering if they're going to pull it out here, if they're going to hold on to it. It looks like they might hold on to it for... Oh, we might be seeing some... Oh, the Rushiez flank through the middle map. Here's what I was talking about earlier. Against a team like Rise, you cannot expect a default. You cannot expect a base. They're going to do something unexpected, especially in a round 9 like this. And Rushiez makes the play through mid-map, gets that down, gets that opening for Rise. And now Rise is going to be able to push this home hill and hold 2 hills.
What a beautiful sacrifice from Rushiez right there to distract all players of eUnited. They didn't see it coming. Rise gets F. They get the D hill as well and a sniper rifle. So Avexys gonna be mid-map, has sight lines in multiple different directions, listening for the call outs from his team. And they're gonna get the call out that, hey guys, we want to lock in F hill and E hill. Let's play for our rotation. Let's set up and see if we can. Let's set up and let Avexys catch some heads as eUnited is going to be rotating. Rise with a man advantage. They're going to move on up to the D hill. Icy finds himself a double.
Oh, goodness gracious. This could be it. This could start to spell the end for eUnited in this round. As you can see, Avexys with that headshot to start things off. Icy wrapping up a double kill over there at the D hill to help push them back. Now 3 players coming off of spawn. Avexys, Icy, they're going to try to mount up some defense here. Nobody in the area to help them just yet. All they have to do is kind of hold back, try to wait for somebody to take these shots. Avexys bouncing around through the middle. Both of them go down finally. They're going to let him crawl around. Kenny will get the kill. Even up the hill. 2 players from eUnited are going to push toward that F hill as well. Rushiez is going to be full red thanks to Powerz, but not going to be enough just yet. Powerz and Fran over here still holding court at the E hill. Smoke out as well. Powerz is just going to have to play for his life. They know that the call out's going to come. They know that the extra rotation from Rise is going to be here sooner, much rather than later. Here comes Icy on the flank. Icy trying to be sneaky, trying to be cheeky. He's got shots over the cover, but doesn't get it down just yet. You see him full red, goes for the Brody run, and gets shut down by Praized. Now Kenny has to worry about a 2v1 against Fran and Rushiez. They've pushed all the way across to the D hill. They are now on the home hill of eUnited, and eUnited find themselves continuously playing defense in this 9th round. They have crossed the 200-point threshold, and they are nearing ever so closely that 250 scoreline at Ashes. It's going to be by the hair of our chinny chin chin at this moment.
Yeah, and number 3 snuck through behind. I don't know how Icy got there, but he got there. He's on the F hill, breaking that, getting it in favor of Rise as eUnited pushes forward and gets their home hill back. Oh, so he came off spawn, broke that hill. Now, I will say Praized did manage to grab the sniper, I thought I saw, but maybe he got taken out. I don't see it in anybody's inventory, so that means no power weapon in play. The round is coming down to these crucial last seconds. They hold the push, and eUnited, they take round 9.
They take round 9 on a last-ditch defensive effort. Icy sneaks through, gets 1 hill. They get the decap at E. But as soon as E got capped up and the win condition didn't change, I know there's a lot of smart players over there on eUnited, but not a single person pulled back. Everybody said, let's stay where we are. Let's make them rush into us. And then you saw it one after the next as they came up those stairs. Shotgun shots ablaze like a firing range, pulling clay pigeons. They said, pull. They got them easy chunks and downs to solidify that round. And eUnited take round 9, map number 1. And ladies and gentlemen, I loved that first map for a multitude of reasons, but the number one reason, and I'm about to hand this off like a football to my fullback and my halfback over here, on this side of me, because they did a lot of heavy lifting of breaking it down, and I'd love for them to continue to do that. So, boys, tell me what you guys saw. Explain to me exactly on layman's term, because I ain't got it all up here.
You know what? For me, what it came down to is that eUnited, they had a strong base. Okay, they had a strong base strategy. They knew exactly what they wanted to do when they came into this map, Colin. And it got scary for them, especially there in round number 8. And then you saw in the final round, Rise, they reached in that bag of strategies. Rushiez flanks through the middle. Rise wins the initial right there, gets eUnited off balance. But in the end, man, once the round got kicked off, eUnited, they got the weapons that they needed. They stuck to their guns. It was a game of rotations, and they had to, one of the best IGOs in the game, I know, had to help them get through that moment because they were playing from behind, coming off a tough loss in round number 8, but they managed to close that one out, and for me, it was the rotations in that final round.
Well, that final round, to me, proved why Powerz had his gamer tag as MV Powerz, because he was the MVP in my eyes of that last round. A lot of people probably won't give him credit for what he managed to pull off. He was in a 1v2, maybe a 1v3 over towards that E hill. And a lot of players are just going to fight for their lives and hope that they take one. Powerz said, no, I'm going to be a threat, but I'm also going to buy time. And he managed to work his way. He managed to reposition, and he managed to get out, which was actually massive towards that round. Because if they get Powerz, they already have the numbers on that E hill. They're already getting control of that hill. Now they also have that man advantage, which means they can push through and pressure the home hill of eUnited. Because he stayed alive, because he got back to, I believe, Kenny on their home hill, that wasn't an option for Rise anymore. So now they have to turn around. They have to go get their home hill back because they can't push forward. That is not an easy push forward. Powerz is the MVP for staying alive, for buying time, and then getting back to his teammates and being able to be that defensive barrier for the home hill push.
You heard it here first, folks. Two of the greatest minds to ever break down the game of Gears, letting you know exactly how eUnited got it done in both map 1 and round number 9. There's our scoreline. It's 1-0 in favor of eUnited. We're heading over to District, which is a map that Ashes has pointed out earlier in our broadcast that eUnited has, while they struggle on it, they have been practicing. They have been trying to get better at it week in and week out, which is a scary thing for the league because you get two of the greatest minds on the planet of the game mechanics and Xplosive and Kenny trying to figure out what they're doing wrong on a map like District, and that should find them in the position to possibly win it in a 2-0 fashion. But Rise, I mean, again, you saw it right there. It's a round 9. It's about a 20 to 30 point differential. I said it before the match started. They have the lowest losing position on the entire league. Every time they lose a map, every time they lose a round, they have the smallest point differential. If you take away the the less than minute triple cap dominations where they get 4 wiped off spawns, anything that goes after that initial 4-man wipe, if anything gets reset, you have that elongated initial, they have the smallest margin of loss on the planet. That scares me again for a team like eUnited because you saw it goes down to a round 9. They are able to fend it off, but that's just telling me that Rise is right there. They're not just knocking on the door. They got one of them 20-ton battering rams, and they're just waiting for the door to fall off its hinges. They are so close to breaking through in so many of these maps, rounds, and matchups.
And now is the perfect time for Rise too, as well, because their schedule just gets harder as we're back towards the back end of the Pro League. It gets harder. So today was eUnited. I believe Tuesday is going to be the Pittsburgh Knights. And then right after that, on the final day, it's going to be Noble. So Rise, leading into that mid-season playoff, they really need to be the best version of themselves. Now, I think one map for Rise that we're going to be seeing a lot from them is going to be District, right? So when it comes down to District, Ashes, my question for you is that you've prepared against this Rise Station team a lot on this District map. What makes them so strong here? Because I've seen them before rely on this map to get a win against several different teams. So how have you prepared against them on this map in the past?
So District for Rise seems to be one of those maps where not only do they have a large catalog of strategies that they're ready to pull out at any time, and I keep referencing that match against Rebel where they ran 3 or 4 different initials just in the first 4 rounds of the game. So, you have to be on the lookout for that, which means you have to be on high alert. You have to be able to call numbers and recognize, oh, they're doing this one, here's our counterplay. That being said, Rise also does a really good job of picking somebody off if they miss position at all on this map. They're really good about looking through that middle section of the map, crossing out Lancers and getting somebody down, and then using that man advantage to then push into a round victory. You see a lot of times they'll get that first down and it just seems like it snowballs really rapidly into a round win. And 45 seconds later, the enemy team's scratching their heads.
Now, to defend against a team who will run several different initials at you, do you consider your base strat to be your strongest strat in this type of scenario? Just being able to counter everything Rise throws at you from your base setup, rather if it's a 2-1-1, or are you throwing different looks as well and mixing it up just as much as they are?
Well, typically your base strat is your most practiced strategy, which means you've had the most adversity thrown at that strategy. You've had the most counters thrown at it. You've seen the most looks from other teams on that strategy. So you should, in theory, be the most comfortable and the best able to react to something that Rise does if you're eUnited running your base. That being said, I expect eUnited to bring out their playbook as well and be prepared.
Okay.
As we go through the fly-through of District, you see the beautiful sights and sounds of this map. We're already going to see multiple members in both the Info and the Juice lancering out toward the middle. Nobody actually goes for control over that mid fountain, that mid lane, to try to be able to shoot up or down. Praized is going to be here in a 1v1 against Rushiez. Back Cinema. What are you pushing up? There's the flash out from Praized, and now Rushiez playing that brand new drone character we had come out with that event. Escape from Gadar. I believe he'll still have, he'll have his smoke. He doesn't have a flash. That's very interesting to me, Ashes, because that tells me that Rushiez wants to win this without using his utility so that he can try to smoke out the window of the Juice.
I honestly think that Rushiez might not have expected him to be matched, but, you know, Rise is making this push over on the home hills. They took that middle map control, and then they found that opening to make this home hill push. They got the down, they got the kill, now they're getting the break. Unfortunately, Icy's put himself in a bad spot. This is a 2v1 for eUnited, and they do close out that 2v1. Looked a little bit scary. I'm going to see them play for B here, pick off this other kill on Rushiez, and then look to take one in the home hill back.
Rushiez takes one to the grave, and it gets a good spread on Praized before he falls. In the end, Avexys gets first blood. eUnited Rise wins the initial, and they're going to have this home hill set up. They got some time to work with to kind of fortify the mid lanes and fortify towards their spawn when they need to. Avexys gets the call out on Kenny. He's focus fired. Rise knows that they have one player left in this area, and so far they're going to be sitting comfortably, but they got to get this A hill capped up now before eUnited gets reinforcements over here.
That push from Kenny was really, surprising is the polite way to put it. I don't understand why he pushed like that by himself into the hill. Maybe he didn't know that there was two people there. Maybe there was bad number call outs, but you would think with the B hill control, they already have that middle map control. You have time to make that calculated push and retake your home hill, or at least let your people on the other side of the map start working pressure somewhere else, which we see Xplosive, and I believe that is Praized doing now in the Rise spawn. They're going to be pressuring that other side, which might move some of the Rise players around in order to get their home hill back. They have the B hill, they don't have to worry about that, and now they're getting map control, but in a weird horizontal direction across the mini map. This is a big fight for Xplosive, though. He needs to win this.
Playing that brand new Commander Paddock, that Collector Paddock skin, and Rushiez takes out Xplosive and Praized in a 2v1. Gets the down on Xplosive. Praized comes in from the flank, gets taken down himself. And now with the B and C hill in their control and possibly threatening the A hill, I mean, they don't even have to go anywhere. There's no reason for them to challenge anything. They could sit back, allow for multiple members of eUnited to come off spawn and try their hand at any kind of retake, because they're going to reach that 250 marker well before eUnited does, and there's going to be with so much time they have to work with. And round number one will go way of Rise, and once again we see just how commanding Rise can be when they're able to kind of rotate around the map and take the fights that they choose. Fran and Avexys, neither of them dying in that first round.
Yeah, the initials looked a little bit odd to me. I'm not quite sure how Fran, I think it was Fran, got pushed up in the middle map for free like that. It looked like eUnited might have been trying to do some sort of cross strat. Maybe they expected Rise to do something different. And that's kind of the problem when you see a team like Rise who has so many strategies. If you try to predict one and you predict wrong and you're running the counter to it, then you're kind of caught with your pants around your ankles and you are then at a disadvantage for the rest of the round. So let's see what they do going into this round. It looks like it's going to be 2 towards Holmes for eUnited, maybe kind of faking it a little bit as they look to take that mid-map control just like Rise did the round before.
And they're going to get that mid-map control for free. Nobody's contesting Praized here towards the mid-map. Rise sent 2 towards the center, but it looked like player 7, which was Icy, gave them a call out on which they needed for them to shift down low, possibly defend their home hill. Now, Rise is comfortable when it comes down to having to defend the B hill with the angles that they have in Juice, so they're not worried too much about that hill. Smoke, eUnited brings the smoke out in the round, going to take out the window to be able to cap the B hill. They clean up the kill on the Avexys. That's going to be first blood in the round. And eUnited doesn't have to do much from here. They've already done enough. Rushiez trying to keep his team from not being at too much of a disadvantage, and that was a great decap from him to counter what eUnited did.
Powerz gonna push up here. Go on ahead, baby. Take it, baby. I want you to have it.
Look, man, I love your voice more than I love my own. I just wanted to point out Rise did a really good job of pushing when the push was happening. So rather than just trying to rotate over and counter that B push that eUnited was making, they said, no, screw that. We're going to make our own play and we're going to put pressure on the other side of the map, which is why they came out of kind of a bad situation with 2 hills still. Looks like eUnited recovered very quickly, though. They got some kills, they got map control, and now it's going to be really interesting to see how Rise chooses to make this retake. I expect number 6 to start posturing up. That's Fran over on the B side of the map, starting to get over into that little crevice where you often see the power weapons going down. He's already taken that control. Now Rise is going to look through middle map and try to get him into B to get the break. Maybe not the cap, but definitely the break, with the Lancer pressure coming across from green juice to blue juice.
And I think player 7 being Icy is going to put himself in a good position to possibly hop up in the juice if he needs to keep Xplosive occupied. Now, the B hill decap comes through, and the capture may come through as well, which would be big for Fran. If he can stay alive, he's going to sacrifice his life to get it. A quick decap comes through for Kenny, but you see the quick response from Rise in the info. They get the down. Kenny's going to be the focus at B. He goes down as well. Now, the B hill will not be captured. Avexys in a 1v1 at the bottom portions of the map. Rise is good to have 2 hills at this moment, but they want more. They want to keep the pressure here on eUnited. Now, that kill not being cleaned up on Praized could be big, but that's 2 coming through. Rise, you're locking round number 2.
And one of the things I'm going to say, Ashes, and I've been a big advocate of it, and I keep seeing I see more and more teams starting to adapt to it. I'm so shocked it's taken this long for people to start using smokes on District, whether you start with them in the initial or you make sure that you switch to that smoke after your first death so that you can try to block out that info, that juice lane. I know you might still understand the positioning of the player and be able to get shots onto that same corner that they usually normally take, but there's just an advantage to me to be able to throw that smoke, even have a chance to get into that hill to really threaten the decap to come out, because then it forces other players around the map to move like different players on different pieces on a chessboard. Now you have a chance to take a bishop or a knight rather than just sacrificing your pawn. But oh baby, it's come out. eUnited said, all right, look, screw it. We're gonna drop a bandstand. You got to fight us over a power weapon, Rise. No more of this trickery, no more setting up on 2-to-1 hills with your Lancer out. You're gonna fight us over a power weapon. You're gonna fight us right now.
Yeah, sorry, that action is just, it's so fast. These drop fights off these initials are so intense. I'm kind of just left speechless, holding my breath, seeing who's going to come out on top. It looks like eUnited is going to take that one, though, but they're not going to get the drop. It was shot early. And comment on the smoke, you know, there's been a lot of balancing over the years of Gears 5, and really the flash grenades, a lot of players prefer to have that combat advantage of the flash rather than that strategic advantage of the smoke. But nowadays it's a little bit more balanced, and that smoke grenade does provide a really crucial cover when you're looking to make plays on a map with so many angles that you can look across, like District. But the plays are going down. eUnited tried to take control of the enemy juice. Looks like they're going to use that to kind of rotate back and help out Xplosive on B. He's getting pushed, but Avexys, I don't even know how he hit that shot. Can somebody explain that to me?
That was insane on his part. Avexys, man, I've seen him hit some shots that just have me scratching my head ever since we've been casting them throughout Gears of War 4 till now. But Rise, they got the B hill locked in. Now Kenny defending The Sea Hill trying to retake Rise's home hill. He's able to take one. His stun doesn't connect on Rushiez, and Rushiez is going to back out. But Kenny trying to utilize the pressure from the Lancer to get the decap on the hill, but you may be regretting that one, as Rushiez will be able to sit on the Sea Hill without any issues whatsoever. Rise is going to reach that 150 mark first. And looking at their setup, they're completely content with B Hill and the C Hill, waiting for eUnited's next push.
It's been a really weird, awkward kind of push and pull a lot of the times for eUnited on this map. Every time they start to find a little opening to be able to push up, try to get somebody into position, somebody else is caught or found out of position, gets Lancer down and gets enough damage onto him for somebody from Rise to be able to rotate through. And Rise, once again, using the smokes to their advantage. Getting the easy smoke out, blocking out the angle. Now you see the shots come back. This is going to be very curious, because even though they're going to get that kill, eUnited has to make it across the map to see, and all Rise is going to do is sit back, pick up their feet, and be able to try, possibly shoot that drop. But Icy has it now, and Icy's going to be able to shut this down, if you ask me. He says, look, anybody that steps into my hill is going to meet this rocket in my pocket, and it's not going to be a pleasant surprise, I guarantee you that.
Right now, eUnited has 30 seconds to make a play, and they know that. That's why you saw Xplosive stop chasing, take his foot off the gas a little bit. Let's make a calculated push here. It looks like they're going to try to apply pressure other places and make this drop get a little hectic. Icy chokes the drop shot. Xplosive just head down right through it. Thought he might roll backwards. He didn't. They're in the hill, but somebody got through to A.
Oh, Avexys. He's capping this one up with a Lancer in hand. He sees his opponents coming towards him. He got multiple players around him. eUnited can make it here in time. They get a player on the hill, but it doesn't
B-Hill
matter.
got recapped. B-Hill was a 1v1. They got won by Rise. Avexys slides through the middle of the map under the cover of, oh, by the way, another smoke grenade. And then they get the 1v1 at B because they isolate the player top of the map. I love that mini map at the top right for things like that, because, you know, as a layman myself, I'm not exactly 100% sure what everybody's thought process is, but I can tell you when I'm watching that and I see Avexys sit in info and watch somebody run past him, he's calling for the breakaway. He's calling for the breakthrough. He says, guys, I'm going to drop a smoke over at B so they have no idea that I'm sliding all the way down to A, forces the player in an ISO situation at B. Two different fights around the map. It doesn't matter. Rise comes away with another round. 3-0 lead in this map number 2. eUnited, they have definitely tried to improve on this, but sometimes improving only gets you but so much closer to a team that's already great on it, if you know what I'm saying.
Now, this time, eUnited will be able to get the drop shot. Praized shoots it right away. Will be able to connect with Icy in the back. Sees his second target in Rushiez, fighting off his left hand. Gonna wait for help to come. They take the fight wide. Kill acquired. Third target in front. Avexys is out of here. A Hill will be in favor of eUnited. Now, C Hill was decapped by Fran. He managed to get behind enemy lines. Decap C. Now he's waiting in info, trying to slow down eUnited for his team to get set up.
And a beautiful back A from Kenny. He's going to secure that kill on Fran. Fran was really just trying to buy time there. If he could get a kill off the back end of that, then that's just bonus points to Fran. But he did his job. You know, if he hadn't gotten through, that could have been a triple cap for eUnited. But now they've identified Icy as alone. Actually, he's not. He does have Rushiez as backup. It looks like Kenny misrolled a little bit, trying to play wide with the Lancer, but that down is going to get revived. And now Rise is in a comfortable position. They're not really getting pressured too much over here, as we also see another fight going down on the other side of the map, and it's won by eUnited, which means eUnited has man advantage over here. You see number 4, that's Xplosive, coming over to pinch this fight. It's going to be up to Kenny and the Powerz to be able to back him up. They get Powerz with the overcover kills. Do not challenge Powerz on those overcovered fights. I'm not kidding. I've seen him win way too many of those over the years. It is not acceptable. I don't know how he does it, but, you know, he is Powerz. So, and Praized with a double kill of his own. That's going to lock down the A hill. Is anyone? It looks like number 1, Powerz, is going to go back to cap that home hill. It's going to be up to Praized with this retro Lancer. This is a hard push for Rise to get back in their home hill. The first down's down. Icy all alone. He's down. Xplosive has the angle. That's it. That's a round, and they needed that round for eUnited.
Didn't eUnited actually come out in their team announcement video, Blaze, and call Praized a, what was it, a certified bricklayer?
Bricklayer. Yeah. He's a New York enthusiast, certified bricklayer. And we watched him do a little remodeling there on a home heel of Rise there in the back end of that game. And it was perfect timing as Ashes was talking about over the cover shots. He shows us 2 classic blind fires and connects with full spread. So good job to him and Powerz, picking up 2 kills each in the final 2 fights to help eUnited get their first round win. And that was one that they needed, especially after losing round 2 in a fashion in which they did. This could easily be all tied up 2-2, but you see the M-bar get dropped. Only one team has a shot grenade. That's going to be eUnited. Let's see how this initial is going to break down, but it's looking like a 1-1-2 for both these squads.
It's going to be a 1v1 between Rushiez and Praized over the M-bar. This is going to be a pretty brilliant 1v1. There's the stun out by both players. Nobody getting a lot of damage on, but Praized, Rushiez getting absolutely bricking Praized there twice. Hits him with the second one on the up A. Praized was actually trying to back out with the power weapon. Fran's going to win the drop shot as well. So they've won the 1B up top to go for the home-to-home split, which allows Rushiez to go on the flank over behind Xplosive. Meanwhile, Fran with the drop shot wastes it, doesn't get a kill there. A couple of downs come through, but it is down to the side of the map on favor of eUnited, but nobody's there in time. Icy gets the pick and the pull, and now the flash will come out from Praized. He doesn't have the Lancer out, so he can't challenge up in the juice. Nobody's going to be able to go to the home hill of the United, but my God, they are going to be in a hell of a deficit here. Oh, what a shot over the cover. They're going to be in quite the deficit, though, as they don't have any hills in their favor. And I mean, Rise is just racking the points up right now. Tick, 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 tick away.
Yeah, I mean, this round is all about Rushiez, who's going, you know what, I'll do it. He won that 1v1 against Praized, though Praized was trying to be a little bit cheeky.
Which was risky.
Yeah, that was a really risky play when you're down 3-1, but I respect it. You know, you got to make chances make champions, as Xplosive always says. So
and you got to put your flash grenade down in the right spot. And it looked like Praized did that, but Rushiez was just going to hunt him down, force Praized to have to hit a difficult shot. Now, this is the first initial Rise has won since the first round of this map. So with them having the power weapons in their favor, well, no power weapons in their favor actually, but they do have map control and 2 hills to their name. Already past the 150 mark. You see eUnited making a home hill play. Icy misses that shot, dodging bullets from eUnited, but not for long. So he's gonna fall, but he will continue to capture the hill. eUnited have to double back. That puts Xplosive in a 1v1. Rushiez had to reload there, so Xplosive will survive. Now he needs to get back over to his home hill and deal with Fran.
It's 4 times tonight, Blaze, that somebody's been left to bleed out and crawl around and has either caused somebody to have to retract out of the fight or possibly take themselves out of the next rotation. Xplosive is going to be tagged up there. Little Red Praized now in a fight, a 1v1 against Rushiez, but there's the help over the top. The M-bar from Avexys finds him through the doorway. Easy chunk shot out. Now Xplosive is going to try to push up with a teammate. Avexys charging the M-bar, waiting for the perfect moment. He's going to get shot from the right side, go down. Powerz knows that he has the M-bar out. They're going to chase up. They get the kill. Does he have any shots left in it? Can Powerz find an M-bar? And he does. He's got 4 shots to his name and is safe. 1 shot out. Oh, goodness gracious. Jesus. Mother Mary Joseph. There's no room at the end for that head even. I mean, my God, he blew that thing back to Jerusalem.
I want to point out some things really quick about that round.
Okay.
I saw something that not a lot of people might see, and that was that double people from eUnited rotating off the F hill while whoever that was from Rise was down and then starting to recap it. To me, that means the comms for eUnited are a little bit hectic right now. So a team like that needs to be able to take a deep breath, refocus. They won that round. They clutched up and won that round, which is huge. That's a momentum shifter. That's 2 back-to-back. Now they need to start being a little bit calmer in their comms and making sure that mistakes like that don't happen, because they didn't need 2 people rotating off that fight. They could have easily Lancered. They could have easily won the fight in the middle from that pressure, but I just need to see them slow down a little bit here.
Yeah, sometimes it takes one player to just, you know, just say, hey, you know, I'm gonna be that guy in a moment to just cover this lane, listening to the call outs, making those rotations and just asking himself, what can he do to support his team? Now, Praized has been leading this fight on the forefront. He got some good shots in, but the shot grenade was absolutely massive there for eUnited. It helped get the double downs. Xplosive comes through with the kills. The revive is there on Praized. Powerz wins his 1v1, but Avexys will win his fight up top against Kenny. He gets him an M-bar.
Shot on the Powerz as well with the M-bar. Now the back A comes out, gets the down. Avexys still bouncing around. He's going to be threatened from the middle of the map by Xplosive, and Xplosive, he's going to try to back out, but he's going to get double Lancer. Kenny comes up into the fight, and as soon as he gets the revive off, takes the head of Xplosive straight back out. And you see Avexys and Rushiez here at what was the B hill, now just the Cinema fight and the M-Bar. They're going to have Kenny pinched out in a 3v1. Kenny trying to just live for as long as he possibly can. Meanwhile, the flank from Praized over to the home hill of Rise will take the advantage of one player while the other one comes off of respawn. And now that Praized knows that he's behind him, he has to try to pick the fight, has to try to step up into chunk range. Just pokes a few shots of damage out, but not enough to get the down or the out. 2-1 hill advantage in favor of eUnited. Avexys trying the M-Bar yet again, won't be able to get it. Now 2 members of Rise are going to poke down toward the E hill. You see them mounted up. 3 members of eUnited are going to try to match them here defensively. Nobody being able to push up into the fight yet. Kenny gets called out through the smoke, and a lot of pistol shots set him right back on down on his seat.
I don't know. Oh, Ashton. I was going to say, I don't know if we've seen eUnited have too many smokes during this map. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, I haven't seen them use a lot of smokes here either. And what I don't love about this play right here is rather than, identifying that Avexys was alone, that Rise's play was going to be to go break that E-hill and get control of that. If I'm eUnited, I'm recognizing that and going, okay, we play for their home since they're going to be playing for E. That home's going to be wide open. Avexys is going to be alone, and that's the M-Bar player dead. Instead, eUnited try to rotate to the E-hill off spawn. They're there late because Rise has the advantage. They're getting there first. And now they're in this situation where the map is crumbling, and that is 4 dead. Kenny off spawn. I don't think he makes it.
As far as when it comes down to teams leading after the 150 mark and comebacks happening, that's the second one Rise have made in this series. eUnited has just done it one time, but I will say, man, after 6 rounds, eUnited has won 4 of those initials. Okay, it just comes down to them being able to get the power weapon, slow it down, and then play off Rise's rotations. So far, Avexys, man, he was the playmaker of that round. Like the amount of work that he did at Cinema to just buy time for his teammates to come off respawn and help him. But then the late game plays he made, picking up kills with the M-Bar to lock in that round for his team was just phenomenal.
So here we come. The disable comes out onto the drop shot. So the fight will be over the M-Bar early in this one. You're going to see a lot of resources used toward the top side of the map out of both teams. Everybody rolling out of spawn. It looks like the only players that might go toward the middle are 9 and 4. That's going to be Rushiez and Xplosive. Meanwhile, Kenny is needing to get into this fight, throwing his flash, and he's coming in a little bit late. A lot of stunts come out, but the advantage for numbers-wise has gone over to Rise. You see them try to mount up on that pole, and Powerz doing everything he can to make somebody miss. Gets 2 out of the 3. Avexys, though, finishes the fight for his team, gets the M-Bar. Xplosive over the top of the cover, gets 2 pellets to connect, enough for the down on Rushiez. And Avexys now has to rotate that M-Bar back through the home hill, back through that original info. This is going to be a pretty interesting retake out of Rise as they're down 2-1 hills. They will lose the point advantage, but they have the M-Bar in hand. And Avexys is just going to look for somebody to be caught slipping. Anybody that tries to take a cover that he sees a long slide, I think that's what he's going to be looking for. Somebody trying to take a long slide. Xplosive takes advantage of a player having the Lancer out, but misses the shot and gets head taken clean off by Avexys. Beautiful job. You see him before he settles into the cover. Gets his wig split, his temples hollowed out, his eye sockets blown out the back of his skull. Any metaphor you can come up with for losing your brainstem.
How
about all that up?
Digesting all of this. Blaze, can you confirm for me, has Avexys come out of every single initial with the M-Bar?
That is confirmed that he has played that portion of the map. We did see Rushiez play a 1 round before Avexys swapped his spot and Rushiez stopped Praized from getting it. But since Avexys has been up there, he's taken out Kenny in those 1v1s, and you saw his team help him come out with the victory this round. And when he gets this weapon, he's playing his own game, right? Like, you're playing around him at this point, and he is doing such a good job being an anchor for Rise at this moment. As Rise, they don't currently have the lead. It is eUnited who gets past that 150 mark first, but Rise is slowly approaching, quickly approaching.
Yeah, Avexys is making a lot of work with this M-Bar here, and Praized, this is a crucial fight right here. Fran needs to go down for eUnited. He is going to get down there by Powerz, so that's going to secure them their home hill, though the fight is taking place on E, but Kenny with a vicious back A on Avexys. No more M-Bar for you, buddy. Go back to respawn. They have one more.
They're on all hills. United on all hills.
They're on all hills. They're threatening the triple cap domination. Nobody's going to make it there in time for Rise. Praized comes up, hits him with the Cantus Scream out of Hoffman. A little bit of trash talk right back as we saw in the previous round of Avexys hitting him with the LFG, that let's go emote coming out last week in the store, and now you can buy it for coins in the store. You don't even have to pay iron for it, I believe. I believe that's now in the featured part. Anyway, look, we'll worry about the gameplay. We'll worry about the store later. We'll worry about the gameplay right now. Xplosive hovering over that Retro Lancer. Are they going to go with the shock grenade? Are they going to? No, they got to go Incendiary. They've already got the shock at the bottom, so that Incendiary up top might be what the doctor ordered, or a 60-second retro, because they have used it pretty much to perfection at this point, but they go with the Incendiary. Ashes, do you agree with that call right here?
Now, I haven't seen them use their block. Last round, I know Rise blocked the drop shot. I didn't see eUnited use their block. If that's true, if they haven't used their block, I'm really surprised that they didn't block one of the weapons here to secure this initial. For example, block Rise's shock grenade so you can pretty much guarantee that drop shot pickup, and then go into round 9 knowing that it's an even playing field. But you got to get to round 9 before you worry about playing round 9.
Well, if they get there, they can definitely take off whatever they want on the map. We'll see what they choose. If they make it, Avexys wins his 1v1 and gets M-Bar once again. Now, on the bottom end of the map, Praized will be able to get his power weapon and trade out a kill, so 3v3. Now, the difference is that he used his one shot with the M-Bar, with the drop shot. Avexys still has about 5 more shots with M-Bar, and Icy's picking up double kills. eUnited, they win this initial in my eyes, and they lock in his E-Hill as well.
Here we go with Powerz bouncing around inside the juice, just trying to make something happen. Maybe a little highlight reel, going for a reaction shot off of one of those covers, but he lives long enough again for multiple members of eUnited to get back out onto the map and get different sections for them to be able to take these fights. Kenny, he's going to pull up on Avexys. Avexys gets the easy shot there on the steps. As you can see, he gets that full spread and the down. Now Rushiez mounted up here on the top of that fountain, trying to push around. Xplosive is down. Praized trades out with him. Avexys has to worry about Praized trying to bounce around. That decap might be a little bit crucial, but Icy gets the down on Praized from middle map. There's that mid lane we talked about earlier in the day when we saw District on for Noble, where they were able to put shots up and down that vertical lane. Kenny's right there as well, and that's what we're talking about. No. There's the gruesome twosome. Kenny, Powerz, the only 2 people to win all 4 majors in season 1 for Gears 5, are trying to find their way back to that throne. And they are starting in this split.
Oh, no.
Seemingly now with another triple cap domination being threatened. Xplosive with a long-range flash. They've got the decap. I don't know if you overstay your welcome here, though, Ashes. If you... Oh, my God. Praized, never mind. Praized put on the sandals and the khaki shorts. He went grilling, didn't he? He said, look, I'm going to be outside. It's going to be about 60, 70 degrees out there. I'm going to put some ribs on the rec tech, baby. Triple cap domination, courtesy of a double kill from the Incendiary of my man Praized. Round number 9, map number 2. 18 rounds in this matchup so far. Unsure if we're gonna see.
Here we go.
24-8 for Avexys. Did I see that right?
I think you definitely did, man. Going into this last round is gonna be crazy. I think I called it wrong at the beginning of that last round, but it was Rise that won initial, and it's off the back of Avexys. And so, there's the block, right? At the late game, it's going to be taking that M-Bar out. And I think that's the best block in which they could have got, because Avexys versus Kenny in that 1v1, Avexys, man, have been coming out on top each and every time. But, folks, we're here in the final round. Looking at the strategy, it's going to be a 2-2 for Rise down low, a 1-2-1 for eUnited. The shot grenade puts a good use, and it will get the down there on Fran, but will anybody be able to clean up? You see Kenny trying to get across, but he won't have the angle. Fran goes down once again. The flashes was there. The crossfire from eUnited comes through, but Fran will survive.
Yeah, they put Xplosive out on that fountain over there and towards the B side of the map, and he was able to get that angle on Rise's side of the juice. Fran's going to miss that drop shot there. Does damage Kenny enough so that they can get the down on him. They're getting crossed out. We're going to need chain revives out of eUnited. They might need to back out of this a little bit and just reset. Make Rise waste these flash grenades.
Powerz okay?
No.
Oh, my God. Ashes right now is having nightmares with the Pittsburgh Knights. Just FYI stream. He's having nightmares.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks, and I can't tell if Rise is gonna. I can't. Is Rise gonna take this?
Yeah, they are.
Take it.
You
Hell
take
yeah,
it,
they're gonna
baby.
take that.
You're gonna tell
They taking that.
At the end of the day, you know, you play it out, I guess. Play until
They
the
are
whistle's
taking
blown.
that.
Play until the whistle's blown, right? Is that how this works?
Yep, that is gonna be how it works. Hey, you know what? These two teams got a long history against each other. And you know, I think Rise takes it, but you know, you look back on how the round kicked off. Rise won the initial. Fran does shoot the drop shot. He doesn't get much from it. Now, from the point in which Powerz lagged out there, I don't know if anything is gonna be different, but you know, regardless of the fact, man, you know, Rise, they win that initial. They're gonna lock this round in too, and they don't care. Nobody's decapping these heels. They're like, it is what it is.
Okay, it looks like they're starting to be on the same page about this, which is good. I was holding my breath because, like you said,
we're backing it out.
Oh,
I was getting that flashback of the major. You know, these guys have been through this before, and I saw some of the eUnited guys literally just standing still in spawn. I can already hear their voices in my head going, "Not again, man! Come on!" But
live look at Nick right there. Live look.
Yeah,
Here we go.
no, more like this. I was just.
The reason why I look like that is because when I saw they backed it out, that means that we got to reset all the way back up to a round 9. And that's the point that's the part that probably is annoying for everybody involved. You know, one round away from either getting a victor or going to a map number 3, but folks, we're going to be on hold.
I don't care. At the end of the day, I know you and I kind of joked about it where you play it out when somebody disconnects like that because, you know, at the end of the day, you want a dub for your team and you want to see. Yeah, it's a live round. You've already rolled out a spawn, but I think this is the best bet for everybody. I think by the time he lagged out, we weren't even at 50 points. So it's not like the initial was even solidified by either team whatsoever. But ladies and gentlemen, while we get the whole entire lobby reset, get it back to round 9 with the correct weapons in place, the correct blocks out, and everybody back in the spawn so that we could roll out for round 9. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back for that round 9 right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports. And just to give you a little bit of an insight, the players are resetting the lobby entirely. They have to start all the way from the beginning. Basically, you're going to let somebody triple cap this round, triple cap the next round. You're just going to stay in spawn, allow for it to happen, because you just want to get it to 4-4, and you want to get the correct weapons, the correct timers, and the correct disable there coming into round 9, because as we all know, the pivotal disable came out from eUnited. They tie it up. They get the disable on M-bar. So you got to get everything all in order for everybody, and we've got to make sure that we have it exactly right, because I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and you guys can piggyback if you'd like. I have the utmost respect. This is the second time this has happened, this Pro League split. Hive had it happen for them. They reset the lobby. They allowed for a round 9 to be played out. That is competitive integrity. That is the highest form of sportsmanship I think you could ever ask for or look for. I appreciate and love those individuals for that here tonight. Rise has the same thing happen. They have a player disconnect against them. They could easily take the round 9, take it to a map 3 and try to win it there. But they said, you know what? Let's win this thing the right way. Let's show our sportsmanship. Let's show our integrity. Let's show our honor. Shout out to Fran, Rushiez, Icy, Avexys. Shout out to Reem, everybody at Rise. Nothing but love and respect for each and every one of you guys right now.
Yeah, and so for the eUnited fans in the chat, this is where you can pick a Rise fan and at them and say, we appreciate you, okay? So show each other some love out there, because it's always back and forth. But in this moment, I agree with you. I'm happy that Rise allowed a reset to come, because, you know, us as fans, you know, we want a good ending to this series. It's been an awesome night so far, and awesome TriCast, by the way, boys. I'm having the time of my life here. And so, you know, we want this series to close out the right way, and we respect Rise for letting this lobby get reset. You know, it's a Pro League match. You know, don't be taking no free wins out here. You know, what you taking free wins for? It ain't worth all of that. Ain't no money on the line.
I know the Rise guys, you know, as competitors, and having played against them, coached against them a few times, they're the type of team that wants to win and win convincingly or win via their gameplay, not on a technicality, not on, you know, somebody disconnecting. So, you know, like Colin said, and like you said, Blaze, utmost respect for these guys. That is the true competitor spirit. And I'm really happy that we're going to get to see this round 9 again. The one thing that I wanted to comment on really quick and maybe get your guys' opinions on is that block that eUnited used. They blocked that M-bar, which, you know, they are losing that M-bar fight, but why not use that block to give yourself an advantage on the map? Why not block either the Insins or the shock grenade that Rise has and then have an advantage on one side of the map, for example, on that drop shot side, and then you basically have a fight on paper you should win.
You know what, Ashes, I definitely agree with you in that sentiment. And you know, especially in the week of us coming off, we had the International Women's Day tournament where the girls played, and you know, your girls of UYU Divinity put centerline power weapons down the entire time, but at that level of gameplay was successful for them, and they was able to find those slight advantages to come out on top. But I was saying, like, if somebody does not punish them for not having secondaries at this level of gameplay, I definitely think that blocking out an extra nade would give you an advantage somewhere, but you have to quickly rotate that nade towards the lane in order to get that extra kill. So which one would you do? Will it be the incendiary grenade, but in the 1v1 spot? Avexys doesn't need that, right? And he's probably going to rush up to get that M-bar regardless. Or is it going to be your opponent's shock down low for the drop and you have to just hold off against Avexys up top, a hot Avexys at that?
Yeah, if it's me, I'm blocking that shock grenade and then using that shock grenade advantage that you have over on the drop shot fight, letting your player, you know, it's a 1v1, just you got to hit a shot, right? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day over at that M-bar fight. And yes, Avexys is dominating the M-bar fight over and over again, but I don't think the answer is blocking the M-bar and preventing that fight. I think that answer is looking at that fight from a different perspective. Maybe instead of approaching it as I need to win this 1v1, maybe you approach it as I just need to not lose this 1v1. Keep Avexys occupied because he's looking like a force.
Yeah, that shifted mindset can definitely change the round for you. Like you said, stay alive rather than make the play for the team. And if you do block out your opponent's shock, do you run a 2-2 going into that next round? Maybe send 2 players up top to deal with Avexys, one to pick up the flame, one to deal with the 1v1 at the M-bar, and you know, you just kind of hold off on a quick pick on the drop.
So if you block your opponent's shock grenade at that drop shot fight, you know that they're going to have to do something a little bit different. A lot of teams have a tendency to play more aggressive because the team throwing the shock grenade is either going to put it right on the weapon or on your side of the weapon. Which means if you're more aggressive and you get to their side, you're in the clear that shock grenade isn't a factor. So I would do something where I send somebody mid-map to be able to have that cross angle if for some reason Rise decides to play really aggressive over on that drop shot, then you have that cross angle to hit your side or even right on top of the drop. Have Kenny or whoever it is throw the shock grenade on their side so it forces them forward or forces them too far backwards. And then you've either got them like herded like cattle onto your side of the drop and lancered out and downed out and killed, or you have them forced out of the fight and you get a free drop pickup.
Yeah.
Ashes,
what you
real
gotta say,
quick.
Colin? Go.
I'm a big fan. Look, I know y'all are having a really nice discussion about what you would have done, what you should have done, what you could have done, but we ain't there. We're here with a blocked M-bar round number 9, and I'm a big fan of cheap pops. And I know the voice of God can hear me. The lower third we just had up was a perfect opportunity for me to shout out our official audio partner of Gears Esports. It is Astro, by the way. Astro is the official audio partner. And I know they're partnered up with our boy at the other end of the table there, my main man, Ashes. He's rocking that beautiful Red City camo Astro hoodie. My man, Blaze, has got the wireless. Is that the wireless 850s, Blaze? That's
yes, it is.
Oh, my.
No matter where I am in my house, I'm always connected, okay? I'm listening to something, a game, a podcast. These headsets do not leave my head.
And I've got that nice slick Dymos with the Esports logo on the side. You know how it is. Look, I live and breathe Gears Esports. So on the side of my head, you know dang well what it was going to be repping on the outside of that ear hole.
I got about 5 of those.
You know what? Hold on. If the voice of God will indulge me for a second, I think I have something that I know my man Blaze will definitely have, and it's a relic of Ghost. It's a relic of the Christmas past for Blaze.
Ooh, Christmas past. Hopefully it's not. Oh, old school. Nah, I don't got that tag, but I got plenty of clothes with that logo on it.
What about that one, Blaze? What about those?
I missed that, Omen.
It's such a beautiful thing way back when.
Why
Look,
are you giving us throwbacks like that? MLG, old Gears of War, Omen. You want me to go on a rant here?
Okay. No, I'm not gonna say I want you to go on a rant, but I want you to walk down memory lane with me, baby, hand in hand.
Hey, if we're gonna walk down memory lane with Astros, I got a little quick fun fact for you. I actually have the pair of Astros that won MLG Meadowlands in Gears of War 2. I actually lent them to, I believe his name was Fritzley, and he was on the team that won the event, and then he handed them back to me after the event. So I have a championship pair of Astros somewhere.
Got a lot of those,
house.
I think.
And as we're blocking this out, I just want to say that team was Fritzley, Perfect Uno, Terra, and our very own Jay Ribbs in his very first event where he got his championship. Destroying us all with that hammer burst in which we could not roadie run past as they locked us all down. Fiercely was a force, okay? Because you poked out of cover, you were down, you're dead. It was over. Legacy was winning the round.
Round number 9 is officially broken out here, and Fran trying to get inside of that drop shot once again. He has the smoke out. He has the angle here on Powerz. It's beautiful. He turns to get some extra damage there. The shocks are out trying to protect Kenny. Kenny with a long range drop toward the middle of the map. Doesn't find anybody. And the late shock from Rise. That is a wrinkle in their offensive scheme. It only gets a couple of downs. Nobody's able to clean up any of these kills except for Rushiez. He finally picks one. Player 7 Icy is going to go for the home-to-home split, but eUnited has a beautiful initial, coming away with 3 alive down at E and the extra pick on the power weapon. They don't get a kill with it, but they have the positioning to be able to take back their home. But Icy waiting in the wings, looking to burn up. I believe that is going to be, who's that waiting for him? That's player number 1, that's Powerz. He's looking to catch some, oh, he missed it.
Yeah, that was really great by Powerz to bait out that instant. He knew Icy had picked it up. So being able to bait that out and get the break in your home, and then shout out to whoever that was. I believe that was number 2. So Kenny coming back and getting that pinch on the hill. But now the fight's going down on E. It looks like Rise is going to pick off Xplosive and pick off Praized. That's going to give him the man advantage. It's going to give him the E hill. Powerz needs to stay alive right here.
Rushiez does not want to lose. He did a good job staying alive as long as he did off that initial. Just by him not dying quickly, eUnited knew that they cannot get the trip cap domination. Then he comes off respawn, and so far I think he's on a 3 kill spree in the middle map. He's getting chased down outside of bandstand, having to go up against Powerz, but Icy has Rushiez back. Rise, they have the point lead currently, and they have the kills in their favor after losing the initial.
Icy's going to push back against the tide here. 2 players of eUnited had to pull all the way back. Rise do have the extra point advantage, and they have the man advantage here because they're going to be pressing up onto the home hill of eUnited. They're going to threaten the triple cap for just a minute, forcing multiple members of eUnited to press out through the top of the map. Powerz is left in a 2v1 down at the bottom of the map, so he has to be careful not to lose his life because now he's in a 3v1, and they're going to chase him all the way back to that first half home hill. Praized pushing up. Incendiary out from Avexys. Will get damage on a Praized, but he catches him coming into the second cover slide. Easy dub kill there for them. And they get the 2-1 hill spread. No points going in favor of eUnited. They look like they're going to try to win this off of a triple cap domination. Rushiez, drop shot in hand, over the top, gets the kill on Praized, and that shuts down the retake of eUnited. And that could be all she wrote for map number 2. Rise not just shows sportsmanship, but they will show strength through adversity as they close it out in the final seconds and tie us up 1-1 in maps. Round number 9, won by Rise. We're 18 rounds deep into this hell of a matchup, Ashes. What a fantastic finale.
Incredibly well played by Rise. You know, they found every single opening, and honestly, that starts with Icy. Icy being able to go through to eUnited's home hill, pick up those intents, get that break, get that cap. That's going to draw multiple members of eUnited back to their own home hill. That makes E wide open. Now Rise knows that they have the man advantage over on E. Icy's keeping people distracted over there, and they make the push quickly, and they execute it perfectly. They pick up the kills on Xplosive and Praized. That means the man advantage continues to snowball on the map, and it's curtains from there. There's no way that United can come bounce back into that round unless they make some kind of miracle play. Rise didn't allow it.
Also, in the heat of the moment, when we saw Rise come off a respawn after losing initial, they won the fight spin map, and then you saw him pressing eUnited's home hill for the domination. Then as I was watching the mini map, I could see that they got the call out to disengage, play for 2. But then, eUnited had an opportunity to possibly get some kills at Fountain. But based off the routes that Rise, the rotations that Rise had coming from eUnited's home hill under pressure, I felt like they didn't know exactly where they was going, but they settled at the bottom portion of the map. They got the drop shot locked in. And they says, hey, it's just we're going to fall and die on this hill. And they did a good job under pressure locking it in because eUnited, they had a good rotation. They had most lanes covered, but they just did not win their fights. Rise came out on top, man, and they showed composure there in that last round.
I mean, complete composure by Rise in that last round. Even after losing that initial the way that they did, the way that they rotated, continued to keep the point spread very close, if not in their favor, by continuing to get decaps around the map, force eUnited to make different rotational plays. You see them tie it up, ladies and gentlemen, at 1-1, 5-4, 5-4, 18 rounds deep. Harbor is a map 3. Are we seeing 27? Are we guaranteed the full money between these two teams?
I think we might be.
I mean, I want to see it. I don't want to see it, and I want to see it. I've got like multiple personalities over here fighting because I love eUnited. Like I said, these are my boys. So I want them to come out in 5-0. That's the biased Ashes. The Ashes trying to be professional and grace the caster's desk for the first time. Thank you to you guys, by the way. I want to see around 9. I want to see the action. So I'm torn. I don't know what to expect or what to root for. I just know we're going to get some great games on this Harbor match.
Do you think at any point there's going to be a discussion over on eUnited where they say, let's put a drop, let's put incendiaries, let's put something at Stern to keep Rise from being able to put that in M-bar up there and be able to use the same kind of strategy where they were getting the M-bar in Avexys' hands, allowing him to anchor out the rest of the map by being able to get body shots or even headshots and put those highlight reel plays? Do y'all see that as a viable strat coming out of eUnited here where they say, let's just take the fight away by putting something up there ourselves?
They could, but they're going to still have to fight for it, right? So they're going to still have to deal with Rise. And over these last 18 rounds, Rise have won, I do believe it's going to be 10 initials so far. So they've been doing the best off the start. Now, when we move on over towards Harbor, Rise can put themselves in a good position because we know how difficult it is to retake Stern and Winch after you've lost it and after power weapons on this side of the map and your opponent gets the Retro Lancers. It's a tough it's a tough position to retake. You're going to have to throw some overextensions down low towards the home hills, but let's see how this fight breaks down, man.
So eUnited did something a little bit different off the initial. I want to point that out. It looked like Praized was looking towards the middle map. I don't know if there's something that they know about Rise. Maybe Rushiez over there likes to make sneaky plays through middle map and flank, or maybe Praized was thinking about making that flank play. I think we need to keep an eye on that B side of the map too, because that 1v1, so far, Rise has been doing a great job in any 1v1 related fight, especially on District. But it looks like Praized is going to win this one with the help of his teammates. He's going to leave Rushiez down. That's going to give him B hill. And now we should probably see United push forward here with the man advantage. They're going to have the angles. They're going to have the crosses. They could close this round out if they play this one right, if they get the good shots in, which it's United. They're going to get good shots in. But Avexys and Fran putting up a massive fight here, throw some good stuns, and they get Kenny down and killed on the back side of that. Now, I will say Praized has picked up a kill on Icy. It's time to set up for United.
I have an answer for you. I'll hit you with it after this round is over because I took a look at who had what left in their utility spawn, but we'll talk about it in between rounds, no matter who comes out with a victory. Why Praized played over toward the middle of the map, and I actually have seen it because it's the second time tonight, and I think Blaze is going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it. Right now, Rise has a retake at the B hill. Fran is going to go down. They're going to have a lot of Lancer shots out onto him. It's a 3v3 bottom side of the map. You see Xplosive trying to get this second kill. Rushiez will go down. Icy goes for the up A. Xplosive steps back into the gib range, gets the easy chunk. That's 4 wiped off the map. That's an easy rotation for a triple cap domination. You see multiple members trying to get in the hill, trying to make it go as fast as possible. Fran's going to be the only person who's going to be able to make it there in time. Stunned out, taken down and out, and Blaze. You and I talked about this earlier in Ashes. Now that I say it, I know you're going to know what I'm talking about. Praized, when he rotated back to his home, he didn't have a flash grenade in his utility. He knew that they had right hand. He knew more likely than not Rise is going to try to go for the up A around the winch coming out of the road spawn. A late flash to the U gets a double stun, and it allows Powerz to take over that cover at the winch and get that back A that we saw on camera, get that second kill. I guarantee you that's what ended up coming out of that, because he didn't have a utility in that fight at all.
Talk about a way how to nullify the disadvantage of you having to play on winch or wanting to play a winch. You know, just shift your 1v1 player mid-map to be able to throw that extra flash if possible. And I think that's a great heads-up play for eUnited to get that early advantage playing off their bad side.
Yeah, and just to comment on those flashes on winch, this has been an issue even in Gears 4. You have to be super accurate with your flashes when you're throwing them over there, because there's little gaps in the fence and your flash can actually fall through that down into the water and not affect the other team. But we are seeing a different strategy here from Rise. They take the up top control. They're going screw winch. We don't want that fight. We're going to take up top control and Lancer down on you, but eUnited has a quick counter.
Definitely have the quick counter coming with a counter punch right now. Xplosive shot onto Avexys as he up A's around the corner now. He's going to chase out Franchis. Franchis is going to be caught between a rock and a hard play. Shot over the cover. Two good shots there. But Powerz will slide in and get the headshot. Already switched out over to the Lancer. They're going to leave, I believe, Kenny in the fight to help out Praized. And they're going to try to angle out a couple of players from Rise coming off of respawn. They're not able to threaten this triple cap domination yet because, well, Rushiez hasn't put himself in a position to get Lancered out from Kenny until just now. He goes down. Triple cap domination, not able to get secured or threatened though, because you can see 3 members of Rise huddled up around their home. They're starting a little campfire. Xplosive, Boltok in hand, trying to get damage out, but he's gonna go down, and that should make it 3v3 on the map. And this is where Rise needs to go ahead and push up, try to make it to the 50-yard line, try to start making your way for the retake.
Do you like where Xplosive was positioned, Ashes? Do you think he was too far forward there?
I think he at first probably thought they might not know where he is. They might have thought he retreated all the way back up top. But as soon as he recognized that they weren't, kind of carelessly pushing and getting that control, I think he knew. And I think he just tried to make the best out of a play. He took a risk and it didn't really pay off. And that gives Rise, like you said, the numbers to be able to push back up, take that 50-yard line. Now they have up top control. The Lancers can shoot down low, and that's going to help Fran get into this B hill. So you're going to see him slowly move up with the support of the people up top. Actually, I'm wrong. He's taking a 1v1. The people up top are trying to make their own play over here on the home hill because of this point deficit.
And I will say that even though he dies, the home hill is on the other end of the map. There is no neutral hills on top stern, and we're in a late game. So he respawns, and he's exactly where he needs to be. He was watching the B hill for a second, but now back off respawn, trying to get his home hill back for the squad. Currently, eUnited not getting any points. Rise with a trip cap domination. Rushiez, can he hold the lane long enough? He cannot. Rise is going to get slayed out on top of the home hill. That's 4 members dead, and eUnited having a lead in which they have. They should have no issues with the B hill and the C hill closing out round number 2.
Ashes, is Harbor the most dangerous map for that to come back to bite you? Is it by far the easiest map to get re-wiped and then have people roll back out against the tide and get the double hill cap and basically close this round out? I mean, now you're down to 14 seconds and every second counts when you're getting 2-1 disadvantaged. And I mean, there it is. We're down to 5. Nobody's going to be able to make it to C. Is Harbor by far, statistically in your mind, the hardest or the easiest map to have that happen to you on?
I don't know if it's the easiest statistically. I will say that if you take a look at the home hills, one of the things that makes that such a risk is if you're going for that triple cap, you really don't have any cover that you can play while you're in the hill. Whereas you look at a map like Vasgar and you have those kind of statues around the hills that you can kind of play and dodge shots when the other team's spawning up and pushing the hills. So, when that team is making their retake on their home hill, you're kind of out in the open and you just got to hope that you get the shot before they do. And if you don't, then you fall. And like we saw right there, eUnited got the shots. They got the chain revives, which was absolutely crucial in that fight. And a really good job by them by trusting each other, trusting the teamwork that, hey, I might sacrifice my life for my teammate to get up and trade my kill. It worked out for them, and then they were able to close out that round.
All right, here as we head into round number 3, looking at this initial, gonna see a 3-1 from both these squads. Player 9 choosing a different route. Praized going towards that mid-map to kind of start as if he has the first nade being thrown on top of Wint, so it gets there first. So that helps power out around the curve. He's gonna be able to get that first blood, but he's made quick work of, and that's gonna be 3 members down on the side of eUnited.
That should be the push for a triple cap domination by Rise. Already there in the hill. They've got the Retro Lancer of eUnited as well. The stun comes out, and Xplosive is trying everything in his bag of tricks there. Throwing the flash, double bouncing across the backside of the hill. Flash over the top, not going to even get the stun off before the triple cap domination ticks on through for Rise. Not the most eventful round, but I mean, if that's how you got to get them on the board, that's how you got to get them on the board. Am I right? You'll take them anyway. They'll come at this point because if you're Rise, you don't want to go down too many rounds too early and put yourself in a place where you have to basically be picture perfect to win a map number 3 against eUnited. Molotov out by Rise, answered back by the Molotov of eUnited. So a lot of secondaries on the map right now, and I'm not sure when we'll see a power weapon, sooner probably, or later probably, rather than sooner. But for now, everything's going to pretty much stay neutral. We're going to have pretty much the same fights over the winch. That shot down toward the B hill, and there goes, that's Praized toward the middle of the map. That's what we got to look out for, that flash.
See it? There you go. It came through, but it didn't connect really because Avexys really didn't lose momentum there. Praized had to get backed up. Now Xplosive is going to fall as well. Rise wins this initial top stern and winch, but Rushiez is going to lose his fight down low, and that's big for eUnited to keep them in his round.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely crucial that Praized wins that 1v1, because when you're throwing this extra stun up top, you're putting yourself late to that B fight. So there's actually, it puts you at such a massive disadvantage. You basically have to sacrifice B control and go, okay, my stun up top is going to help them win that fight. And when it doesn't, then it's just an effort to
It gets
recover.
worse in the second half, too.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. I'm actually going to be surprised to see if eUnited keeps running that strategy going into the second half, especially when that stun this round didn't make any difference. It didn't stun the other team. I think it might have been a little bit too deep for how aggressive Avexys was playing, and now Rise is threatening a triple cap almost out of nowhere.
Yeah, they've gone for the Mr. Krabs. They snuck somebody over to the hill, but there's another rewipe. 2 dead for eUnited. That's going to keep Rise in the driver's seat because eUnited is going to have to come back off of respawn, solidify their retake, and you can see it already how Rise is pretty much mounted up to play defense at the stern. They're waiting for anybody to come out. The only player that can really push through would be player number 6 trying to get to the winch, but Avexys is going to make it there before anybody else does. Kenny's going to get a decap at B, but the fight's going to break out here at stern. Xplosive bouncing around with a teammate to his right. Shots on. Gets the revive, but nobody gets the trade out for him, and they're going to be able to shut them down at the stern. This should be the end of this round for all intents and purposes because Powerz is going to be in a 1v1 against Fran, and even if he wins this, it's going to be a home-to-home spread for Rise. They're going to be still in a commanding point situation. And Ashes, this is a good second round in a row for Rise. They're looking to tie this thing up at 2-2 going into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, this round technically isn't over. eUnited has 45 seconds to work with. So if I'm them, I'm talking about what the play is. But Praized getting down, trying to make it up towards even just the first covers to where you can make an attempt of pushing this up top control. It looks like Rise is just going to sacrifice all of that. They know if they can turtle on their home hill. And for those of you who don't know, turtle means just staying back, staying defensive, staying in your shell, and holding that control because they do win off one hill in 20 seconds. I don't like how eUnited is not moving right here. They need to be taking up a little bit more control.
I felt like they had the right idea first, where that the first person that dies off respawn caps the home hill, but you see they double back and says, hey, we only got 1 push left. They're trying to get through. 3 players focusing this side of the map, and nobody from eUnited is able to get over there. Rise parks the bus, and that bus will not move an inch. They win their second round in a row, and looking good so far.
That Rise firing squad right there at the end, I mean, like, they knew exactly where to look. They were ready, and you can tell that they've practiced that before. Like, at some point in scrims, they've gone, okay, we went off 1. Let's go over this setup and know who is looking where, because those lancers were beautiful. That's why it was impossible for eUnited to get anywhere even remotely close to touching that hill.
Agree. They had every single lane covered. If eUnited doesn't go back to cap that home hill, yeah, they may get an extra second, but regardless, they have to still get through that defense that Rise had, and that was a tall task for anybody. But you see weapons go down. We got shot grenades up top, Botox down low. We're all tied up 2-2. We're in the second half. It's a best of 5 remaining, first to 3. Let's go.
Absolutely fantastic setup here. You see everybody coming out to the mid-winch fight, and it looks like Rise is going to go for the bottom side toward that winch, trying to get that extra Lancer angle from Franchise, and I actually love that call out by Rise. They put Franchise down there. He has the ability to basically cross out whomever, wherever. Meanwhile, Rise will give up the top stern control. Kenny trying to just threaten the double cap up there at the E hill. Kenny's going to keep bouncing around. There's the stun out. Nobody's really going to be pressuring just yet. Avexys has the angle though on Powerz. Now going to try to bounce up. This stairwell fight is a very interesting fight to me because as you see Avexys roll back, he knows that the angle, the elevation advantage for Powerz was going to make that fight that much easier for him, because right now it's almost like the game wouldn't register that there's an elevation difference. He'd basically be still right up at his grill trying to get that one shot down. So I like the back roll from Avexys. I like the extra shot on to get the down. They're threatening the triple cap domination as we speak. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, Rise take 3 in a row and are 2 rounds away from ending it 2-1.
Yeah, Rise really needed those rounds. I was kind of surprised that they started off a little bit slow in this map. You know, they went to war the last 2 maps. So looking at this map, it's not just a map 3. To reference UFC, these are championship rounds right here. These are when the players are starting to feel a little bit fatigued. They've gone to round 9 twice in a row, and technically round 10 if you want to talk about district. So they're like at the end of like their stamina for this match. They're going to be putting everything that they have left in these rounds. And Rise started off a little bit slow, but it seems like they've kind of caught their stride, and now they're playing with a little bit more confidence. So if I'm eUnited, I need to be matching that confidence. I can't play passive. I have to start challenging, maybe even ego challenging a little bit and going, look, we have this energy left too. We're still eUnited. We're still fighting for this spot, and we're still confident that we can take you down.
All right, let's see. We can see some of that confidence from eUnited. The flash will stun Fran, thrown by Powerz. You're going to see Rise take their right-hand advantage up top stern. So a little trade-off in positioning, similar to what we saw the last round. Both shot grenades are going to be thrown from each team. And Praized is the only player with a nade. Him and Rushiez both have flashes to utilize in this moment. We'll see how they would choose to put them to good use, but it's going to be Rise with the initial win.
You're going to be stuck here at Winch just a little bit as Powerz is trying to posture up. Now you see Kenny. I don't know if he knows his Avexys is there. Avexys might be able to take a quick wrap shot there onto Kenny, but doesn't get anything to go. Is now full red from multiple angles. There's the down. They're going to go up for the quick pickup, and they get it off. Franchise coming into the rescue. Has his cape on, trying to be super Fran here, but doesn't get it to go. It looks like Kryptonite was in the hands of multiple members of the United as he crumbles beneath the weight of 3 Nashers. Rushiez left by himself to his own accord. 4 members of eUnited on the map. Just him by himself turns and tries to burn with the retro, but he's going to be crossed out momentarily. Here comes the respawns. Only 3 seconds away. Unsure if anybody's going to make it there yet. The first chunk comes through, and Fran doesn't make it. Tie ball game. Ladies and gentlemen, we went from a best of 5 to a best of 3 in the blink of an eye. And Ashes, you said as a commentator you wanted 27 rounds, and by God, it looks like they're trying to give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like that friendly thing they heard. They're like, oh, Ashes wants it. All right, we got you, bro. Like a late wedding gift or something like that. These guys are definitely putting on a performance. I love what eUnited did that round. So they lost the initial theoretically, right? Nobody died, but they lost that initial because they lost neutral hill. Kenny moved up slowly. They forced Avexys out a little bit. And then because they were, Rise was forced back to their own side of stern, you saw Powerz on winch lancering them in the back for absolutely free, along with Xplosives lancering from his side, almost like that first half home hill area, bottom of the ramp. They had this great L formation of lancers. They got all of those downs, all those kills, and then immediately went forward. Their decision making's on point. Let's see how this round goes.
Drop shot up there now, and it's going to be that much more pivotal to make it to the top stern. Powerz will have the initial positioning up here. He's going to move in behind this player Avexys. He's going to flash him. He's going to try to pull that Lancer. A lot of damage out, but not enough to get the down. Goes for the back A, connects and takes him down. Multiple downs around the map, though. Who can clean up or get revives quicker than the other? And it looks like it'll be eUnited. Even though Rise comes away with a home-to-home split, eUnited will have the drop in Kenny's hands. They'll have the mid-E hill. And they're going to have to try to push back across the tide here at their home hill. Rushiez waiting for the wings with incendiary, throws it out, doesn't connect with anybody. Now tries to push up on the flank, sees that his teammate is dead, goes for a backhand, doesn't get it down, but the second shot comes through. Now gets the chunk on Xplosive. Absolutely huge and massive, but Kenny answers back with a double kill of his own with the drop shot. This round is far from over.
Far from over indeed, but now Kenny's getting pinched from both sides. That was a beautiful flash from him to get a 1v1. He's able to get the kill. Now check up against Icy. He takes him out as well. Kenny eradicated an entire squad, giving his team ample time to get into perfect position to lock in a 2-1 hill setup. Now they're playing from behind, but they can smell blood and they know they got Rise against the ropes.
Look, you guys told me not to cuss going into this, but Kenny is so damn good. I can't believe what he is putting on. He is not losing this match. He is not losing to a former teammate, Fran. He is going to take the entire United team and force them into his backpack if he needs to. And then he gets another one. What is this killing spree at?
Yeah, he's at 6, baby. He's at 6, and then that gets shut down. Do we count it because he was emoting? It don't count. All right, it don't count. Official word from Blaze, it don't count. Back-to-back rounds for eUnited, and like I said, oh my God, you guys were hitting the nail on the head. Kenny basically just looked at everybody and said, all right, guys, I'm not exactly going to say I'm going to do this myself because I really don't want to do that, but I'm going to get 4 kills right quick. Just hold up.
Do with that with what you want, but I'm getting these 4 kills.
Oh, Rush, you're clutching up? Hold my beer.
Oh, exactly. Shoot.
Talk about being a player, right? And you do something great, but then your opponent responds on the other end. It's just like, what the hell? I worked hard for that.
Yeah, that's when the team blaming starts coming out, and you know these teams are both above a level where you won't see a lot of finger pointing when stuff like that goes wrong. But in the heat of the moment, you know that is really frustrating to clutch up on one side of the map and then see your team just all apart on the other side. So what we're seeing is United is running 4 up top for this drop shot. They're prioritizing this drop fight.
They're not going to get it. Rise isn't going to get it at least. Now, Rise is bringing out Incendiary Grenade back into the hands of player 4, and they're actually going to go home hill to home hill. So Rise is going to fight this 3v4. Can't take anyone to the grave. They all fall, and it's up to Rushiez to win multiple fights. Now, luckily for him, he has a Retro Lancer and an Incendiary Grenade. He can chill out in his opponent's spawn, but he has to make some perfect plays here just to stay alive.
Rushiez is just trying to hide here. He's trying to buy time for his team, and he actually pushes out against Kenny. He gets called out. There's the angle out. They're going to let him bleed out as well. 3 members of Rise are going to be pushing toward the E-Hill. Kenny's trying to get back into position as quick as he can. He might go down with a dropout. He is down. Can anybody make it to him in time? Nobody's going to make it to him. He's going to go down. He's going to drop shot as well. That is a blunder. That is a round 9 waiting to happen, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make that kind of mistake. And Icy gets the call out and the power weapon.
Man, talk about balance, man. After making such a great play beforehand, he loses the drop this time around. But, you know, you look at, Now, the home hill of Rise is going to be recaptured. They got E as well. eUnited needs to get up and get Stern back, but they're going to lose a player. Big kill from Avexys. Now Rise sitting here. E-Hill continues to be locked in. The drop shot is going to be utilized, and Rise has eUnited on the ropes.
Can't handle this. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I can't deal with this if this goes to around 9. I'm too fat, my arteries are too clogged, and I've had one too many steaks in my life. This is an ER call waiting to happen tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But Rise, they have the 2-1 hill advantage. They have the positioning around the map, and they are well within right is to just win this round. I mean, when Kenny goes down with that drop, that is not a blunder you're normally used to seeing him make. He drops it, gives it over to Icy. Icy now can sit and hold court on the winch, and Rushiez is just going to back A and up A his way into the Hall of Fame because there's not much anybody can do to stop him. And all of eUnited, they have to fly, they have to get kills and hills, but there it is, player 3. Avexys is gone for the breakthrough. This could spell doom even if they win all these fights.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see United go for this home-to-home play, and you know, I don't want to count him out of the round yet, but Avexys going through to United's home hill, that E-hill over there, this is going to be something that seals the deal. It looks like the fight was won on the other side of the map too, so I just don't see a way of United being able to get back into this round unless Kenny clutches up incredibly, which starting with a missed drop doesn't do that. But going back a little bit further, United chose to go home to home, even though the score was close and Rise was just starting to lock in their 2-hill setup. I'm really surprised by that call because Rise had winch control. With that winch control, you are a sitting duck going for that home hill push. You're just going to get shot in the back, and there's really not much you can do unless you have a teammate who's shooting over for you, keeping the winch player down, which United didn't have. So that call in general, I mean, we saw Kenny even try to push up through mid-map to get an extra angle, and he got forced back instantly. Rushiez is in a super safe spot. The team is just getting downed out. I don't like that push. It felt flustered. It felt rushed, and they paid for it. So we're going to round 9.
I will say up until this point, man, all of the rounds in which eUnited have won between this map and the last map, outside of one, has been won by way of domination. Okay, them here in the late game, man. It's been getting crazy here. Rise have been managing to stay alive, but if this round 9 goes all the way to the end of it, Rise statistically, man, they've been surviving better here in the late game, but we'll see what happens. We got nades mid-map. We got incendiary grenades at the bottom. We got a drop shot up top and some shot grenades. Here we go. The final round is round 27. Let's see who comes out on top.
Chop shot already. eUnited trying to posture. There's the shot grenade up top, trying to catch Icy in the backside of that Stern fight, but not going to find anybody. Rushiez gets the opening pick onto Powerz, and Kenny is going to be left to his own devices as he goes down inside that mid-cut. Drop shot in the hands of Fran. And oh my God, this could be a Mr. Krabs. Xplosive is going to try to make it across the map, but I don't know if he has any chance to get all the way over there before the domination ticks through. Player number 6 is trying to challenge up on Rushiez, but he's going to go down. Now Xplosive dies to the drop shot. Ladies and gentlemen, it's up to Rushiez to just cap out the Avexys is there with the down. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. All over. It's all over. Call off the dogs. It's all over, and it's all Rise in round 9, round 27. They take it home. My goodness gracious. Oh, God. That is insanity.
This round 9 showed the glaring flaw with sending numbers prioritizing up top over and over again. Now, I will say Praized, I believe, started to come up top, then turned around and went back to his home hill. But I think there was maybe a miscommunication or something like that on what the initial was actually going to be, because it looked like they thought they were sending 4 up top for the 3rd round in a row. And instead, they did this kind of weird hesitation, this weird split push. And when you do something like that, especially when it's delayed getting to your home hill, getting that weapon, you're allowing the person on the other team, aka Rise, get that advantage, get that map control, and then now they're able to pressure when you try to rotate back, or if you try to do anything, or you're a sitting duck, you can get shot. So it just felt like a breakdown on the side of eUnited, and Rise capitalized perfectly on it.
I will say that it was a difficult shot to make from, I think, where he was, but Fran with that drop shot on Xplosive on his home hill was a big one too, because he was isolated on that side of the map by himself. It's a drop in open area, and he still connects with it. That was huge, because that round could still be going on right now.
I think the glaring issue for me that eUnited continues to show every now and again is sometimes you see these really well-oiled machine pushes out of them, and in rounds 7 and round number 9, there were 2 times where a player from eUnited either found himself in a fight alone and was maybe even trying to push that fight. And it's one of those situations where, yeah, I'm not in the comms. I don't hear exactly what you're saying, but I can certainly read a mini-map, and I know you have no business being in a 3v1 at top Stern. Powerz found himself in that in round number 7. And then in round number 9, Kenny, when he switched places with Xplosive and put himself in the cubby right next to drop, Xplosive left. He got out of dodge, and I don't know if it's because he was full red. I don't know if he felt like they were going to both go down. But as soon as they switched places and Xplosive got out of dodge, Kenny got absolutely approached from a wide angle, and I'm sitting here going, that is 2 different rounds where somebody has been left to their own devices, and as talented as all these guys are, you cannot do that in late game situations.
No, you can't let that happen. But to add on to that, I think the timing for that lined up with when Rushiez, I believe it was Rushiez, got that instant kill, and I think the player was on winch. So I think the 2 players up top knew that, okay, the hole has already been created in our defense. Now we can either sit here and die, or one of us can maybe try to get out and prevent this round from ending because of that opening ice-breaking kill. So I think that's what was probably going through. It was just bad, unfortunate timing for eUnited. But Rise, they really showed up to play on that map. They had top control in that last round. And my question is, Blaze, did you see any kind of different shot grenade uses that might have helped eUnited if they had placed it a little bit differently?
You know what? They definitely could have probably got that shot grenade back a little bit further there towards the stern, because it felt like they were dropping that shot grenade directly on top of the weapon at first and kind of playing around it. But, you know, when it comes down to grenades in general, if you can find any way to make your nade the last nade that hits the ground, you do so. Even if you fake it out, bait your opponents, whatever you gotta do. It was a crazy series, man, and I'm pretty sure it was a position that shot grenade could have got put in for the boys of eUnited to kind of capitalize off of it a bit more. But in the end, man, Rise, they had the right strategy, man.
27 rounds, 2-1, as you see on your screen.
What a series.
An absolute marathon of a matchup between these two, and really just a banger. That's a classic. You could see that I could watch those two teams play into eternity, and I don't think I'd ever get tired of it, because it's 10 of the best players in the world right now. I think without a doubt we have got to continue to give props to Rise. I said it even when I picked eUnited. Rise has the lowest margin of loss on the planet. When they lose rounds, it is by hairs. I mean, outside of being wiped off the initial, if you just take those out, anytime it goes past an initial, they are the closest team on the planet to coming away with victories. So for me, that tells me that Rise is starting to find that championship formula. They were finding ways to either elongate rounds out and make eUnited make a mistake, or they were finding the weakness in those initials. Like Ash has said, when Praized kept going to that mid-cut to throw that flash, that extra stun into that initial fight, sooner or later, Rise is going to catch on to that. They're either going to see it on broadcast, they're going to see it in their VOD, they're going to have a way to counter that. And I'm sure Rushiez is smart enough. He probably called it out. He said, yo, Praized ain't even challenging me at B right now. Praized is throwing an extra flash at Winch. So second half, when Praized would go to throw the extra flash at Winch, you saw Icy and Fran both go up top. They left Winch to a possible 1v1 with Avexys. And we all know how fast Avexys can get the hell out of Dodge if he decides to be mechanically skilled as he is and bounce around. So he's probably not even getting stunned anyway. Those are the micro adjustments that help win franchise championships in the past. And those are the kind of micro adjustments going forward that franchise is going to be able to use to help counteract some of these top tier teams.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with that. And, you know, big shout out to Rushiez in that 1v1 position down low as well. Because, you know, with Praized making those adjustments, Rushiez had to make adjustments of his own to extend around for his team and actually give those call outs out and help them find that opening in eUnited's armor for them to be able to come out with the win. So shout out to them. You know, Rise, every round that they won on District was off of time, you know. So when they get to that late game, they get extremely strong. And great series. We went the distance. And, you know, make sure you guys give some love and some shout outs to Hash for coming through and casting with me and Colin, because for us to do a tri-cast and go the entire way of the series, I think is wild. I only did one other tri-cast before. It was me, John, and Fallout, and now it's us three, and this was awesome.
Ashes, do you have any final thoughts for everybody out there in chat? Do you have any shout outs you want to give? Anything you want to plug? Go right ahead. The floor is yours, baby.
Yeah, well, first, shout out to you guys and Gears Esports for giving me the chance to come on here. It's fun taking all of the analytical stuff that I've been doing behind the scenes for so long and be able to really put it out there on the broadcast and help the viewers understand maybe the thoughts behind some of these plays. You know, eUnited, you fell short today. I'm still your #1 fan, but, you know, I'm hoping to see them clean up things a little bit. And then shout out to Rise, not only for the sportsmanship, but they played phenomenally. They were winning their gunfights, which was really influential, especially on District. So shout out to Rise for bringing their A game and for both teams putting up 27 rounds of pure entertainment and fun for us. You guys have been awesome. Shout out to Astro. Obviously, we talked about them earlier, and in UIU, my home right now. So big props to them and UIU Divinity. And you guys are awesome. Thank you.
You got a chance to shout out your wife and you didn't even do it. You're in the doghouse. I guarantee you that. You're going to be sleeping on a couch here soon, brother. You're going to be sleeping on a couch here soon.
Look, having the ring gives me like subtle shout outs throughout the entire broadcast. Shout out to my wife, who I know is watching. Oh, gosh. No, I'm sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the couch, brother. But look, thank you so much for joining us, Ashes. It was my pleasure, my honor. I know you and I have talked about it in the past, getting a chance to sit down and chop it up in front of a camera and talk over some high-level competitive Gears Esports before. But for everybody at home, I hope you enjoyed it even one millionth as much as I did, because that means you had an absolute blast. Don't go anywhere, though. 2-1 27 rounds rise eUnited. We probably might have a mirror of that in our next matchup, because our final matchup of the week, it's Pittsburgh Knights versus Fire and Ice. This is going to be one hell of a match. Don't go anywhere.